Sorry, at least don't.
But then she was so good at it, they.
Gotta be out there facing.
She's the worst, that's the irony, and she doesn't. Yes. I think that's fast.
Good evening and welcome to the regular town council meeting for May 19th, 2026. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask everybody to stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ask you to join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Moving on to item number 4, adoption of the minutes. I look for a motion from the council to adopt meeting minutes from April 14th and April 28th.
Make a motion that we adopt minutes from regular town council and budget meetings, April 14th and April 28th.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are there any questions, concerns, or comments regarding the 2 meeting minutes? Hearing none, since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of adopting the meeting minutes from April 14th and April 28th, 2026, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it, those meeting minutes have passed. Moving on to presentations, congratulations and introductions. We do have the Community Heart and Soul here tonight to present on their findings and what they've been up to, so. They give the, what's that?
You ready now?
Oh, yeah. Are you ready now?
Give me 5.
All right. That is all we're giving you, 5 minutes. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
If it's the same one you gave me, then they have it, unless that's a new one.
I don't have a hard copy. Thanks.
No, it's the same.
Oh, new one. Okay.
Thank you, there.
Okay.
Been a while since I've been here. This is kind of scary.
Intimidated.
Over the course of the last year and a half, the Pittsfield Community Heart and Soul Committee has been meeting with residents and collecting interviews. We have attended concerts, festivals, and other community events. Our volunteers have spent many hours interviewing community members and asking them what they love about Pittsfield and what they would like to see in the town in the future. These statements are the byproduct of hundreds of interviews with residents. They aim to reflect what matters most to the people who participated in our community engagement efforts. Our team drafted them and we shared them with the community for feedback. We did that a few weeks ago, many weeks ago. The feedback after 45 days of public, getting them out to the public by publishing them in Rolling Thunder and sharing them online and at events. We sat down a couple weeks ago and reworked them at our main meeting. We shared them with you tonight as we move into the new phase or the next phase of our project. Towns use these statements in different ways. We hope that they will be useful in guiding the framing decisions that you guys would make. Our next step, because we're entering phase 3, our next step is to collect ideas from residents about what they would like to see in the town. We will use the statements to facilitate conversations around actionable ideas. Once we have gathered ideas at summer events, we will let the residents vet the ideas and select them as their top priorities. These will be presented to you at sometime at a little later date, probably sometime at the end of next fall. There is no expectation that the council take any of these ideas or projects. Community Heart and Soul works best with municipal partnerships and open communications. We hope you find this work useful and helpful, and we look forward to sharing our final ideas with you within the next few months. So what I passed out a while ago were 6 areas that we've been kind of working on for quite a while. And again, as I just mentioned a couple of weeks ago, we kind of sat down and put them all together. And I have 3 committee members here that if you had any questions you'd like to ask them, they can. You wanted to answer them? No, okay, that's okay. But it's been an interesting process. Because, you know, we've gotten a lot of different kinds of comments and a lot of different kinds of recommendations. And I'm gonna add something today that I know that you're gonna be working on something a little bit later, also on something else that's a little bit different. But Amy and I met with somebody today who's working on another project. There's a working on for Main Street and so forth. And so there's a possibility that there could be a lot of overlap and using the resources from a lot of different areas to put some things together. And that's a plus. I mean, how many years have we talked about this? You know, we've talked about this since, to my recollection, there was probably the discussion started maybe the first year of the bicentennial. And we tried to get a lot of things going then, but you know, different things happened, different things came up and so forth, but now we're back on track again. So that's what if you read the different categories here, the hometown feel, the economy, these were areas that we put together based upon different comments that people made. And then we took and did a little work with them and so forth. And hopefully what will happen is some ideas and some suggestions as we begin to develop these more and we get into phase 3, we'll hear some suggestions from people in the community about what they would like to see. And that's the purpose of kind of doing it this way.
So, this is great. Much appreciated, a lot of hard work. It's definitely something that we can use going forward, so like you said, collaboration with all the different parties is good.
I mean, there's, 3-4 different things happening in town right now.
Right.
And, it's gonna be critical, from my perspective, personal perspective, I think it's gonna be critical to somehow get those working together.
Mhm.
So that it's not necessarily repeat, but that we can build strength on a lot of those ideas that come up, so.
Agreed, that's great,
And I just,
appreciate it.
one other thing, and
Yes, I saw the photograph.
Oh, yeah.
just in case there's any questions.
What's the net worth
Awesome.
security?
Thank you, appreciate that.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, gee. Thank you, Jen.
I just wanted to say that I had a chance to go to a couple of the meetings back, probably close to a year ago. And I had a chance to see how much work was involved in this process and how much work was spent ahead of the group. And this is a huge amount of work to bring all that together, and online surveys and in-person surveys, and it just, kudos to everybody to follow this through and have this information for the next projects that we do, and the downtown is a good example.
Yes.
You know, to kind of express what our vision is, and then try to, you know, do the things along the way so that we can get the downtown area developed the way, you know, we all hope it can be.
We had there were some times when there were some interesting discussions that we had with people. They would like, the hell's this for? From that extreme to, wow, we've been waiting for something like this to happen for years. So it's been a challenge, but we're not done. Like I said, we begin phase 3, which our training session will happen within the next couple of weeks. And so you may be seeing people out again. One of the things that we are talking about considering or doing is doing something as a community organization, something like a barbecue or something where we can get people to kind of come together, set up some tables where people can discuss some of the ideas that they would like to. So we've got a couple of ideas that we're working on, and it's nice because there is money for this. And so it's that's a nice addition.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Any questions for the community heart and soul at this time? All right, thank you very much, Jay, and Heart and Soul Committee. Appreciate all the hard work. Thank you. Appreciate it. Moving on, item number 6, public hearings. There are, all right, and we lost half our crowd, but that's all right. We'll continue. Public hearings that are done tonight. Item number 7, reports. Jack? Town manager's report.
So just a few things that are going on. We have started the process of demolition of 2 of our dangerous buildings. Or one is completed, and the Lincoln Street building will be underway by tomorrow, should be, and hopefully finished this week. And so we're progressing on that front. Our representative from Maine Department of Transportation was here a couple weeks ago to talk about the status of the Villages project. And basically, it's still in the phase of DOT trying to find the design funding to do that, that basically the final design that we need to before we do the construction. So, and there's not a real clear timeframe for when that funding is gonna come about. So a couple of things that we talked about is whether or not we could do a application for the construction phase, even though we don't have a completed final design. And apparently there is some precedent for that, so it's a question we wanna, explore, and so that we could hopefully keep things on track and not, lose the opportunity for the construction phase funding on it. And also, we currently have some funds through a Northern Border grant that we may be able to utilize that might actually, we have to utilize by the end of this, I think it's by fall, by the end of September. And we're gonna be able to utilize some of that might facilitate the DOT's process for design, just some basic things. But that would be a good dovetail if we're able to do that, so. We're still exploring every way to keep the Villages project on track. And DOT, I know, wants to see this happen just as much as we do. We had a pre-bid meeting for our paving spec that we put out. We had that last week, and we'll get bids this Thursday. And we'll see what the pricing is, and then we'll just at our next meeting in June, we'll just see where we go from there. We got some safety training scheduled for town employees next week. It's just annual stuff that we want to keep up on. So we're gonna do a couple of sessions, so there shouldn't be any interruptions in departments or hours or anything like that. Try to get everybody in and out. Then I wanted to mention, you might have noticed all the cleanup and improvements around the town office, a little bit of change in landscaping out front, and There's some dedicated town volunteers that are helping us do that. Deb Short has spearheaded the group that's helped us clean up the flowers and everything, and really appreciate all that effort and what things are gonna look like.
All set? Awesome. Department head reports are in the package, so you can review those on your own. If that works. Moving on to item number 8, old business. There is none tonight. And we will move on to new business. Nicole, can you please read resolution 2628, please?
Result of the town council approve the town of Pittsfield water department collection standard operating procedures.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion, we adopt resolution 26-28. Second.
Moved and seconded. Jack, do you want to give a
Yeah.
brief overview?
Yeah, this is something that I talked with Annalise about, taking a look at, seeing if there's anything we should update, and then, just trying to be more, scheduled and, routine about, how we treat, various, shut-off situations for water. There's, obviously non-payment situations where we have to issue notices, but also just changes in service. If we have, let's say we have a service in a tenant's name and then they leave, and then we have a different tenant, but it stays in the previous tenant's name, then sometimes it requires a shut-off notice to get the name updated, so we're the right account, the right user. So we want to just make sure that we're utilizing that as needed, and we all are, up to date on the procedures that we're gonna use to do it.
Yeah. I assume these are pretty standard.
A lot of UC specified, and some of the windows we can make them longer, but we can make them shorter.
Sure, okay. All right, are there any questions from the audience regarding resolution 2628? Any questions from the council regarding 2628? Hearing none, since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of resolution 2628, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 2628 passes. Moving on to resolution 2629, Nicole.
Resolve that the town council appoint the following people as members of the ad hoc downtown committee: Jason Hall, Craig Weaver, Richard Davis, Mike Smith, Corey Barrel, Brett Newhouse, and Tom Cody.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 26-29 as read.
Moved and seconded. Jack.
Yes, a part of our putting together our downtown plan, which will really kind of feed into our comp plan. And when we get to that phase, part of that is having a committee for both phases, actually. And so these folks are willing to work on the downtown phase, and I think most are interested in continuing on to the comprehensive plan phase. But this is the important first step to getting the downtown plan process going.
Any questions from the audience? Yeah.
And Matthews, I'm just curious how these people were selected.
So these are people that have either expressed interest in the comp plan previously. And I think there's one person who'd been involved with the VPI, which is downtown related. So we reached out to see if that person would be interested in being part of this downtown piece of what really would be the VPI, be a big part of it.
And they're on the planning board.
And planning board, there's what, 3 members or 2 members of the planning board? Possibly 3.
I noticed there were no business owners on that list. Was that not in consideration?
I think that what we wanna do is we wanna engage business owners, without necessarily, obligating them to, anybody can come to any of the meetings and provide the input. So we we hope that, that business community is fully engaged in the process and they come as much as they're able to.
And Mike Smith and Brent Newhouse are
Yeah.
both business
I'm
owners.
just curious, and
I meant downtown business owners.
Yeah, there's not many business owners down.
Well,
Yeah, no, I know.
We're starting to
I know that.
become some, there's your uncle's place down over the hill, there's Nancy Deck, there's
No, I know.
Ron Watson across the street. So, there's insurance agency, there's a bank, there are a few.
Yeah, I was,
Not what it used to be, long, long ago, but a few.
any other questions or concerns from the audience? Questions, comments from the council? I'll abstain from voting, not that it's, I don't know if it matters, but I will, just for the heck of it. So I'll look for a motion. No, I'll look for a vote. All those in favor of resolution 2629, please signify by saying aye.
I,
All those opposed, say nay. And I abstain. Ayes have it, resolution 2629 passes. You good, Craig?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to resolution 2630. Nicole,
Resolved that the town council consider nominees to serve on the legislative policy committee.
look for a motion from the council.
motion that we. So we're gonna open for discussion, resolution 2630, right?
Yeah.
Open for discussion, resolution 2630.
Who did it? Seconded was Jack.
Yeah, so every year the MMA invites communities to nominate somebody to be on their legislative policy committee. I don't have anyone to suggest for you to nominate, but if you had heard from anybody that was interested in doing that, we would be able to submit a nomination. This committee is basically a committee of municipal representatives from every Senate district in the state, and it basically discuss legislation in front of, in Augusta, and then the municipal association will advocate on the basis of what this committee feels they should. If there's a bill that MMA should support, or a bill that MMA should not support. So this committee helps MMA decide where to stand on certain bills in the legislature. So that's what it does.
Any questions from the audience regarding resolution 2630? Any suggestions or comments from the council? Jack, do we just table this or?
If there are no nominations, I
Yeah, there are.
table it.
I assume there's none. Yeah, I look, do we have to vote to table?
Or just take no action.
Yeah.
Just move on.
Resolution 2630, we will take no action. And move on. All right, moving on to resolution 2631, Nicole.
Resolved that the town council take further action on dangerous buildings at 231 Somerset Avenue and 135 Main Street.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion, we approve resolution 2631.
Okay.
Moved and seconded. Jack, you wanna give an update on these two situations?
So we had one of the owners joined us via Zoom. To my knowledge, I'm looking at Russell, we have not received engineering reports pertaining to either property.
Okay. The last update for those of you that weren't at the meeting was that we were moving forward with a structural engineering assessment of each location. We gave an extension to 135 Main Street in hopes that that report would be given to us prior to this meeting. We haven't received that yet, so, that deadline has passed and we had extended it, 2 times prior to that, so, those 2 buildings. I believe 231 Somerset Ave. The engineer's going to assess that on Thursday, is that what you said?
Yes, well, our engineer will come
On Thursday,
on Thursday for some sort of.
and that's from Plymouth Engineering,
Correct.
okay? And then I guess we need to decide, what we're, gonna move forward with on 135. My suggestion is that the deadline has come and gone and that if we can talk to Plymouth Engineering, that they could potentially, add that building to their assessment and we can move forward with that. But that's obviously up for discussion and debate, but that'd be my hope, I guess, to keep things moving forward. Nathan, I see that you're on line right now. Do you have any kind of update that would?
You have the report. Eric sent it over to you guys yesterday. And I just sent it to you again. If you didn't have a copy of it, it's sitting in your email. And the report says, after observing the existing conditions in the field of the floor and the framing, it's in overall adequate condition with no visible signs of deterioration or failure. You have it in your email and Russell has it in his email. And like I said, Eric said he sent it yesterday, but if you didn't receive it, you received it now because I just sent it.
Who has it in their email?
Jack and Russ.
And this is a like stamped engineering
Yeah,
report?
stamped engineering report. Yeah, it's done.
You have the report with you?
I do. Stamped report. It says no dangerous conditions. Zero.
Engineering group.
I did not see that in the email.
When did you obtain that report?
Yesterday.
I can print it and bring copies down to people if you want to have that.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have time to review it and.
Yeah, I mean, there's a, like I
You
said,
gotta-
there's,
You gotta sort of, what do you have to do? You have to basically verify that it's legitimate report.
I think what we have to do is just verify that it contains the information
That
that
you-
the council needs in order to
Sure,
speak any further to the dangerous building order.
all right. Well, I guess, I mean, we need time to review
Time
that.
to read it.
Yeah, exactly,
That's it,
so,
right.
when's our next meeting?
June 16.
June 16th.
June 16th.
So another month?
Unless we read
Unless
it and
you-
also
I mean, we could-
comfortable just making a decision on the fly, but I don't know.
Well, we could. Well, we
I mean-
can take the time and we can, I mean, we can review it and we
I
can
think, yeah,
individually get back to you with.
whether this becomes an agenda item again.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we need to necessarily wait a month.
I don't.
no, I mean, can't this just be reviewed? I mean, you guys asked for a professional engineer to review it. He did, he stamped it. It's less than a paragraph. The first 2 lines says it's in adequate condition. There is no signs of failure. And he did an
We're not-
entire
We're
report.
not gonna, we're not gonna review it in the middle of a meeting, when none of us have seen it, so,
Okay.
so no, that's
Need to
not an
prepare.
option, but. Yeah, I guess,
Print it, distribute it, let us all look at it, digest it,
Yeah.
and we'll communicate through email.
Yes.
not, yeah, we'll just communicate back to Jack.
Yeah.
And, go from there, I guess. That work for you?
So we're not formally extending it for a month,
That's right,
just to be clear.
right,
Jack will let us know, maybe to get back to him by Monday.
As long as it checks all the boxes that, you know, we would require.
Yeah, so we table this part of, or we just take no act, we've already acted on 230.
Yeah, we already acted on 231, so we can,
Take no further action on 135 Main, but potentially
Upon further,
reconvene or,
right,
you know.
We could schedule even a Zoom if we need to get together quickly.
right,
But you can put a formal date on it somewhere.
Yeah,
sure.
okay.
So do you need to revise, do we need to revise the resolution?
I think we could just, let the minutes show that, there's no action decided tonight pertaining to 135 Main Street and the town's proceeding with the condition assessment
Okay,
of, 231 Somerset Avenue.
all right, I just want to say that. I guess we'll table resolution 2631. And upon, you know, once we review the documentation, we'll then assess whether we need further action or not.
Mhm.
Greg, do you wanna, I can't make the
So we gotta amend it to table.
yeah, I guess so, yeah.
All right, so. I amend my motion to table resolution
For 6:30.
2631. Till such time that Jack has,
Adequate.
or adequate time for Jack to verify its origin and substantiate the findings.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Excellent. All those in favor of tabling ordinance 2631 as stated, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 2631 has been tabled. Thank you, Nathan, appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Moving on to resolution 2632, Nicole.
Resolved that the town council set ordinance 26-04 fiscal year 2026-2027 capital budget to public hearing on June 16th, 2026.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 2632.
Moved and seconded. This is just to set our fiscal budget to public hearing. So are there any comments or concerns from the audience? Questions, concerns from the council?
Only question I have is, will we have a finalized school budget by then?
Yes.
Yeah, because they'll finalize it this Thursday, right?
This Thursday?
They did, yep, so you will.
Yep.
Any other questions? Since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of resolution 2632, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it, resolution 2632 passes. Moving on to resolution 2633, Nicole.
Resolved that the town council set ordinance 2605 fiscal year 2026-2027 operating budget to public hearing on June 16th, 2026.
Look for a motion from the council.
Make a motion that we approve resolution 2633.
Second.
Moved and seconded, so this is just to set the operating budget to public hearing. Are there any questions from the audience? Questions from the council? Since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of resolution 2633, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Resolution 2633 passes. Moving on to item number 10, discussion items. Are there any public comments tonight? Anybody? Seeing none, council comments, Pete?
Oh.
No comment.
No comment. Greg?
I guess just, in light of the holiday we have coming up, thank you to all our veterans, all who have given all, right? And, we appreciate everything they do every day, so. That's it.
Mike? Okay. Eric? And I would just say, thank you to the, community heart and soul for the hard work that they had done. That's, obviously, not an easy task and, certainly appreciate everybody's, volunteering time to that cause, and it will help us, you know, with all the different things that we're working on, with the downtown and comprehensive plan and all those different, things we have going on right now. So that's great. It's good to see the 2026 summer concert series come out. I know everybody's always, excited to see that, and, so that'll be good.
11th annual.
The 11th
year.
11th year, yeah, wow, it goes quick, so that's great, certainly appreciate everybody that, puts that together, so. And I guess that is it for me. We will move on to the budget meeting now. And that would be general government. Everybody's got their budget book. Yeah.
Everybody's got an updated book. As of, the last meeting, right? Actually, updated as a few days ago.
Excellent. Well, we will move to page number 1. General government. I would. This topic is every year. And,
I think you need to go.
yeah, so this topic is, see that Jack was generous enough to want to pay us to do this job, but,
But how much?
yeah, not enough.
Hold on.
Take care of my tax bill, probably.
Yeah, yeah.
We probably didn't have to pay for gas, but I don't know if it would stay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're asking all departments and areas of the town to cut where they can. And I think this is. Although I would like to see people get paid, I don't think that makes any sense, at this time, so I would be suggesting to. Nix that line item and, forego any kind of pay. Which I assume everybody here will agree to.
There you go.
All right. Saved you $9,500, Jack. Well, not you, I guess the 10. So we'll move that to 0. I don't have any other comments on that page. Let me see, please, speak up if you have something you'd wanna hit on. And down through administration, that's. Just the, town manager's salary. The town clerk. Finance department, which is, 3 different folks. Yeah, I didn't really have. Oh, the quick, 20 tech 05. Purchase rental maintenance on the bottom of page 6.
Mhm.
So we're already like $500 over that. 2 months, yeah. For a month and a half
That
ago.
might have been,
So
just
a
some,
one-time thing.
yeah, I don't think that needs to like go up or
Okay,
anything.
yeah. Okay. I was just curious what.
Was that for the emergency repair?
What's that?
That was for the winter repair, wasn't it?
Equipment purchase,
The rental? Was that what you were just asking about?
the bottom of page 6,
Bottom of page 6,
finance.
rental, in the finance department. Yeah, I wasn't sure what the.
I think part of that was, we put the server inside of a rack that has fans that will actually cool the server and something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, then, anything else? Page 10, elections, good, page 11. I was looking at page 13, contractual. We budgeted 50 grand this year and we haven't spent any. Is that the comprehensive plan?
15,
Page 13,
Yes. Yeah, it is,
It is,
the comp plan, yeah, we just.
and you just pay it at the end of the year.
Yeah, so what we would do is I would bring a resolution to you before the end of the year that would just reserve that 50.
Oh,
So we'll have it for when we do need it, and I don't need to put it in this budget again.
It'll roll over you.
Yeah, he basically just reserve it for
Okay.
the purpose that it was originally, in. It would just be in one of those accounts that we reserve funds for, and
For
Okay.
specific thing, so it doesn't go into fund balancing, gets lost and.
we don't have to put it back on the budget.
Right.
That's how much it costs.
Yeah, we have it under contract with Katie Cobb.
Okay.
Okay. But I think we ask this every year, first park assessment, what do they provide? And why are we? And
We have a
what's the
first
purpose?
park revenue. So we-
Why not, I just didn't know.
Yeah, so we're one of the members of First Park, and so as that park develops, and they. I'm probably not the best one to explain all the mechanics under the hood, but we're basically a shareholder of the park, one of the members of that group, and as that park develops and they generate revenue, we get a share of it. So I think it's pretty close to offsetting that, but it
Okay,
could end up being a net gain.
okay. All right.
So is economic development administrator?
What page is that on?
This page 12, yes, so that's
Is adding a position or the?
that is adding the position, so. Trying to give you the backdrop of that, we've had an economic development director in the past, and one of our TIFs, one of our tax income and financing districts, the solar TIF. Specifies that the revenues that we capture through that TIF. Need to be spent on. Basically, it lays it out for you specifically, an economic development director or economic development consulting. TIF revenues need to be designated for a purpose and spending according to the purpose. So on the revenue side of the budget, you'll see actually, I think $94,000 on the revenue side, because I'm showing that it's not coming out of taxes, it's TIF revenue paying for this, but it's also this position plus the health insurance and benefits and stuff, so it's fully covering the cost of this position. But it's TIF revenues that we don't have a whole lot of discretion over. We have to put it towards economic development, either as a position or consulting or.
So if we don't have the personnel, you don't get the tip.
No, the revenue comes in, it's just that it's.
So basically we have $94,000 to spend however we want to spend it within economic development.
Within what we prescribed in that TIF document, which. Pretty much, again, it's economic development director or consultant, there may be some other economic development activities that we could. That we could include in there, but. That's
So 62,450, is that loaded or is that just their wage? For like health insurance?
that's a wage, and that's the high end of a wage for that position.
Health
Wouldn't
insurance,
necessarily-
vehicle.
It's not all baked in that number, that's the wage part of it. And
The 94,000 or something is the big.
Well, the big number would be like 94,000 with overhead and everything. To see a little bit of yeah.
So we get 94,000 revenue and then we're gonna spend 94,000.
Yeah.
And then so there's opportunities there for like big things to happen or?
Well, the biggest thing is that we need to have the capacity to write grants and then administer the grants. And, there's a lot of financial. So there's a lot of support that the finance department needs to give the whole grant operation from not so much writing them, but, to do the processing and the closeouts and stuff like that. So this position is gonna be just as much about helping Tina keep everything together that we need to do for grants from, beginning to end, as much as it is somebody to be looking for new grant opportunities, and, you know, that end of it is really gonna be, somebody that can do both. Somebody that can, you know, be good with the numbers and the books part of it, as well as, the writing of them, and to, you know, just help encourage businesses and things like that. It's gonna be a pretty diversified.
How long is that position funding for? How much time is left on the TIF?
We have, about 2037 is when that gets done, so we have,
11 years.
yeah, 10, 11 years.
That's a lot of grants.
Yeah, that's, yeah, we don't have to worry about, you know, this position, you know, really changing for a while, and, yeah, and I can kind of show you how this
Who
plays.
functioned in that role prior? For the last 9 years, how did we,
9 years?
oh, it was a 20-year TIF, right?
How long?
Oh, no.
So I said
So
there's
we
11
had
years
we had
left.
an economic development position, and then that went away, I think, in 2023,
Yeah, Kathy Cummins.
but I think Catherine had that role, I think,
Okay.
in 2024.
Okay.
And so, I tried to just show you what the numbers look like on this. And. And so you can see that it started in 2018, and knowing that we've had somebody in the economic development position through 2024, but not since I've been here in 2025. Then I'm basically just looking forward from, you know, January 1, 2025. And we haven't spent any of the TIF money, which would be, actually have accumulated more than the 94,000. But I'm looking at that as what 25, 26 generated. And you can see the third column, which shows 0.305, 0.325, all the way to 0.7. That's the percentage of the TIF revenues that's the town share, so that grows to a ceiling of 70% we get to keep. So the number will grow a little bit more, because right now we're at 64%. That'll get up to it'll actually go over 70% for a year, and then it'll drop back, but it'll kind of flatten out at 70%. So we'll have a pretty steady revenue stream through, and I only show this to 2030, but the TIF actually goes, nothing changes on here, still 0.7% all the way to 2037. So,
So they pay two amounts a year?
yeah, because it's just two payments, I just split it up into the two payments, October and,
Oh, okay.
yeah, October payment and a March payment.
Oh, I see.
So what have we been applying this money to before? Like in 2022, what did we apply that $90,000 to?
It wasn't always 90,000, because our percentage was
So I get
smaller.
that, but like that year, or 2025, whatever you wanna call it.
So
So where's the money go today? If we don't have that position,
it's just gonna accumulate in the TIF fund, and we'll have to, I don't know, I mean, it's,
like, can we build a building with it, or can we like
that would be.
buy down taxes for incoming businesses, or can we?
That wouldn't be in the scope of what we've put in there, it's really economic development. Physician consulting, and not a lot of wiggle room beyond that. It's
Economic development, would that be framed in as part of? That be framed in as part of the downtown project, because that's gonna be, right, that's obviously one of the. Direct. Anticipated like outcomes is that we are driving economic development and bettering our downtown and making that more of an attractive location. Could we then take and use that to offset some of the consulting fees that we have?
If we're spending any of that on consulting fees, for economic development, then we're probably good. The downtown TIF that we're talking about.
Yep.
I would envision being for, potentially bricks and mortar things having to do with the downtown. So if
Yeah.
we're doing anything with the street, with, you know, anything that we're gonna have to deal with in a downtown district from North Main all the way to beyond, Hancock lumber, you know,
Right.
down that whole, that would be more of a, I think, improvement type fund that we could use.
I guess I was thinking more like, I think if I'm following what Eric was saying, like the last year was 265,000 in consulting fees for the downtown project, right? Could we have pulled that from that TIF money? Because that is directly tied to economic development for the town.
For our share of the design.
Yep. Could we wrap that into something that is tax-based saving for the town?
I think that, you know. If you could look at probably any infrastructure design, project is potentially benefiting economic development, like water and sewer. You know, design and inspection and stuff. I mean, you know, you can look at it that way. I think that when we put the TIF application in, we were pretty specific about, an economic development director. It's kind of like economic development director, and consulting fees, so. You know, you got a point, because that's consulting fees that benefit economic development. And I think that when we do future TIFs, we want broad wording so that we can do bricks and mortar. The other TIF we have is in the industrial park. We have one with, innovative solutions, I think it is, and, those TIF revenues, which I don't have the number with me, but that would be just for anything we're doing inside the industrial park. So we'd be able to dip into the TIF fund if we needed to, let's say we needed to replace the sign, or if we needed to, you know, do something inside of the industrial park. That's an example where we said, if we have a TIF in the industrial park generating TIF revenue, we'll put it back into the industrial park. This Pittsfield solar TIF, we basically said economic development director, consulting fees. A downtown TIF, I would encourage that we say, you know, to benefit the downtown. I think the state might kind of look for that in the application that we submit.
Okay. I'm just wondering, I guess, I mean, there's obviously a pool of money sitting there at this point, if we're kind of thinking about it that way. What do we have, you know, what can we apply that to, say, this year? Is there something in here that we can start kind of wrap under that umbrella?
Right, I mean, I look where people wanna do business, but really spurs economic development is cheap taxes. When they don't pull money out of your pocket, companies come. Right, people flee out of California and New York to head for Florida. Right, so if we add people to spur economic development, all we did is add overhead to our town, which drives taxes up eventually.
Yep.
And it's hard to be competitive. I mean, we're driving up our costs because we have this free money or this stuff that was written a certain way, and I just disagree with adding people is a good way to drive economic development. Pittsfield, I think sitting down tonight and figuring out how to lean this thing up so that we can afford the taxes in Pittsfield is probably more effective than attracting business.
But what's the big picture of the position?
Well, it sounds like to me they want to bring companies in, right? They want to bring economic development. That's the thought, but I just don't know that adding a heartbeat. If the taxes are high.
I mean, finding grant opportunities to set down.
And you're offsetting this position 10 times over every year, in my opinion. So having been through and seen some of these processes, I think that if you're putting a body in there that's solely gonna be driving towards finding extra funding and driving grants and all of these other things, the offset is gonna multiply. So I think, I understand what you're saying, but in terms of like piling all of these businesses in Pittsfield, they're not leaving upstate New York to come to Pittsfield. So, but I understand what you're saying, it's just they're not gonna bring a multi-million-dollar business to town, so if we can offset 90 grand. By having somebody come up with millions of dollars worth of grant money, in my opinion, I don't even know what the discussion is, but. It's, you know, that person focusing on grants, there's thousands of grants out there for every little aspect of every little corner of this town that probably most of the people in this room haven't even dreamt of.
Alright.
I think it's very valuable.
Yeah, I totally agree. I see that a lot at work too, and it's invaluable if you have someone dedicated to doing
Yeah, of course.
it, you can
Of course.
gain so much. And
That's,
it's a lot of management, I mean, grants, they sound like they're wonderful, they're a ton of work, you know that.
I would agree with that. I mean, I would also say that we have a failed experiment in that situation as well.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
We
correct.
funded that already.
but we have a household.
But let's think about that.
Let's,
So the house.
you're a smart man, let's maybe
Some,
I
let's
understand.
play,
apply some
I understand.
common
That's
sense.
an abnormal situation.
Yeah,
a grant can be like winning a pickup when the price is right.
That's right.
no,
Truck is
no, I
free
agree,
Until you register it,
right.
until you pay the excise taxes,
That's right.
until you do all this other stuff,
No,
right? A grant,
100%.
it's not free money.
No,
In
yeah,
my experience, all these little parks, I love all that stuff, it all costs money.
yeah,
Right, initially, it's free, it's great, and then the freeness runs out, and we have to
Right.
maintain it.
That
And
won't
we put a heartbeat out there mowing it and picking up the trash.
Yeah.
You know, just thinking overall, it's gonna lead to
Something what
more,
you find though is that you end up generating revenue, you know, it's a chance to get started and decide if it's something we wanna keep going with or not, but it's at least gives you a chance.
and I mean, I think every department can benefit from grant opportunities. I think, and I don't know, like, I mean, how many, I don't know the answer to any of it, like, how many grants have we potentially missed out on just because we didn't have somebody kind of constantly looking for them, but, I mean, I kind of see both sides of the coin as far as,
I think that
it's not free, never, nothing's ever free.
I mean, if we're looking for the grant writing side of it, then the consulting portion can be a direction that we look, right? We don't necessarily have to have somebody that we're paying benefits to. Right? So why do you need a full-time 40-hour a week, 2,080 hour a year grant writer? Do we, you know, there's freelance, we looked at this before, because that was part of our discussion,
Right.
freelance grant writing, and are we getting the bang for our bucks, which we obviously didn't.
Right.
Right, a little bit of that was sarcasm, right? So, and there you go. So, but, you know, I just pulled it up, right? So flat project fees for monthly retainer, 5 to 10,000 a month. So the median of that is, if we retain somebody at a median level of 7,500 times a month times 12 months. We're under that 94,000. We can choose to use them, we don't have to. It's a freelance individual that when we have grant projects coming up, we pay that individual for that project.
But the position isn't solely doing grant. They're also helping with finance, they're helping with all other aspects of preparing. I mean, we were 3 years behind on audits. There's a reason we're 3 years behind on audits, it's because we don't have the manpower to prepare the audit for when it's supposed to be prepared. So that position isn't solely doing grant opportunities. Yes, it's a portion of their job, but it's not the sole portion of their job.
And the other part of that is, you know, you get a grant, okay, it's, you know, great, but there's a lot that comes after that, you got to, you know, put together, you got all the compliance that goes with it, they say, you know, you gotta, you know, bid it a certain way, and, you know, you gotta report on a regular
Oh, yeah.
basis, and.
I remember that, 'cause that's why we went grant administrator instead of grant writer, right? I remember that. That was kind of the whole deal.
Yeah.
Because grant writer, once they do their part, they're done. There's a
Right.
ton of work once you are awarded, and there's a ton of work in closing it up.
And that's where I'm concerned about falling down, because if we get a grant and we don't get everything sort of processed, and, you know, we end up turning money back. And then if you turn money back, not only do we lose out on it, but then you apply again to that same agency, to be like, well,
No,
why should we fund you this time? Because you turn, you know,
right.
and I don't ever want us to be in, you know, in that boat. If we can help it, you know, we've got some grants right now, we got 2 grants right now that we gotta try to get as much of it closed out by September 30th, and there's another one by December 31st. You know, and we're gonna push hard to get those, but I just want us to be set up with, if we can find them, we can write them, we can get them, we can comply with them, we can get the projects done on time. And utilize the TIF, and I don't see this position ever, I mean, until we get to the end of the TIF. And then we would have a decision to make, but by then there could be another TIF that's funding this. And there should be, because that means that there was economic development that we are benefiting from if we're able to, so.
Yeah, what do you?
So in 2015, my taxes were $3,645.
Mhm.
This year they're $4,900.
Mhm.
That's 40% increase.
Mhm.
So if you project that out to 2036, it's $6,800 to live in Pittsfield. So my mind frame is, it needs to be affordable. Right, and when I'm going through this, I'm thinking affordability. And when I look at my household, if I say, geez, I gotta keep it affordable, I don't add kids, or I don't add liabilities. Right, even if I think they might be a NFL athlete someday, still not gonna add any, because I think at some point this has to be affordable for people my age. People in their 50s and 60s and 70s, people on fixed income. And you're seeing these town meetings all through the state. That people are all pissed off because the taxes are going up like crazy and no one can afford it. And they're huge increases. And we can't fall, in my opinion, we can't fall in the same spot. And I'm not saying cutting this position is the way we're gonna solve all of our problems, but I'm saying generally speaking, if we keep projecting out the way we're going, Pittsfield's not affordable.
To kind of piggyback that, I mean, we're looking at a budget, right? Just, it's not gonna peak all the way to the last page, right? So. We're looking at. Actually, it's about the page, the second page here, right?
252,000.
252,000. If we were to vote on everything as it sits tonight, $252,000 so that's. 0.75 of a mil, somewhere in that general vicinity. Between 0.75 and 0.8, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so then we have a school budget that we know is gonna come in. We were given a projection of $320,000, I believe, over another increase. So that's another mill. So that's gonna put us up to $24 on our mill rate. Before we slap the town with the third installment of revals that are gonna hit when everybody's property gets. Cause this is the third year, so this is the year that the last third of the town is gonna get hit with their increase based on current. And then the reval on top of that, which also hits this year. Now, what's that? Exactly.
And what?
And water and sewer.
Okay.
So, like, when I look at it, one of the things that I looked at is. How do you best, and I think this kind of goes to the economic development piece, right? And how we tie that together. How do you best? In a time where you have ever increasing expenses. Lower your taxes. The only way to do it, well, two ways, right? Increase revenue, we talked about that, we need to really seriously put some teeth behind. Changing some operational budgets in the enterprise fund budgets. And really start to make some of these pieces of our town pay for themselves and become self-supported. And the other way is you spread it. You spread it across more individuals, right? So that's your growth piece. I took a quick look at growth over the last 3 years in town of Pittsfield, okay? So looked at new home permit applications over 3 years. It's been 40 total in 3 years. A lot of them are probably represented in this room right now, right? And we're looking at that and saying, well, that sounds great. Except for when you actually look at what experts say and urban planners say about the town of Pittsfield and what we need to maintain pace with the rest of central Maine, that's 42 a year. Is where we need to be. So we're 30% behind, lagging. So that would be for not a rapidly growing community, that would be for something that is sustainable. So the sustainability, we're falling behind at 30% a year, 30 to 60% in what we're doing. And why is that? Well, I'm gonna piggyback off Eric, right? Our taxes. Pure and simple. How many, I would even ask, how many town employees live in other towns? Right? How many people come here to work? Go spend money somewhere else? So what is this town right now? I mean, we have beautiful parks, not gonna deny that. I love them. I go take advantage of them, right? That's absolutely. My kid gets an opportunity at a great education. Okay, I see that. But that's not exclusive to this community, right? And you don't actually have to live in Pittsfield to have that. So what do we offer that someone not from Pittsfield can't take advantage of? that deserves that much of my tax money. I just don't see it. I don't understand why we continue to think that we need to raise. And I understand that for 20 years, we didn't do what we were supposed to. You can't fix that in 5 years. You cannot. If you fix it in 20 years, you're doing amazing. That means you did double the work every year. I just think we're killing ourselves, and I don't understand why we are literally driving current residents out, and future residents were putting a hand out and saying, no need to even look at us. Can't afford to live here.
All right, so what's your suggestion to fixing the problem that you're seeing?
Well,
You wanna cut out the economic development administrator that's funded by TIF revenue,
I'm just giving us a lens
That
in
doesn't
which to look at
impact-
every item, right?
taxes?
This is a lens, but how does it?
Well,
I just asked a question, right?
Yeah.
$265,000 last year, we probably could have wrapped up in that. That would have eliminated a mill.
I didn't even know that
Understood.
TIF TIF,
Right, I mean, we can talk,
Understood.
what we could have done last year, on that, but that's a
So
waste of our.
let's look at what we're doing this year,
okay, go ahead,
okay? So we got paving,
yeah,
how can we wrap that up? Why are we not strategic in where we pave?
we are, that, we just.
But
just-
but why can't we wrap that up in the TIF money? Why can't we look at?
Because of
spending
the
that
way
money?
it's written,
Why?
according to Jack, it's written a certain way that it doesn't go into paving roads or,
Why not?
Is that conclusive or? is it-
cause I don't know, I didn't write it 15
No, I
years ago.
understand.
They're restricted funds, TIF funds are restricted, you know, you can only use them for very specific things. One of those things is economic development. We talk about spending our money in different towns, maybe the economic developer will help us create businesses here where we spend our money in town. I just think it's an opportunity, for me, I think it's an opportunity, the funding is there, I think we would be short-sighted to not take advantage of it. And we can change our mind down the road, if it's not working, we're not stuck with this.
Once you hire a person, it's very hard to get rid of a person.
You eliminate a position, that's not unheard of.
Have we ever done that?
We just did it 2 years ago.
If it's not working,
Okay, that was, a situation.
I
you
mean,
can change your business model, you can change your business plan as you need to. We're not stuck with this for the rest of our lives.
So if we don't use the debt money towards it, we don't lose the debt money,
No, I'm not gonna lose it.
so it's compounding.
It'll accumulate and we'll be faced with, what are we gonna use it for?
What was that $50,000 that we earmarked for, was that for the
Comprehensive plan,
comprehensive plan, is that part of, would that be part of economic development?
Yeah, I think that would be part of that kind of development, but that was also, we used ARPA money. And that was, remember the ARPA money, that was last year. So we're just gonna reserve that and we're gonna just carry it forward and then we'll use that same money when we actually do get, costs going down. And that 50,000, if you remember, the town plan came in at 35, and then when we added the downtown plan, that brought it up to 50, so we're getting, so for that original 50, we're getting the downtown plan and the comp plan done. So.
I mean, I'm just. Jack say, I mean, you're saying there's need for this position. And you think that this TIF money is the correct way to fund that position and put us in a better position moving forward. Even though it is it's an added body and cost and.
Exactly, it's gonna help us, find grant opportunities, write them, administer them, comply, close them out on time, be competitive. And hopefully, ultimately, it goes to the growth piece, that if we're doing these projects, then our ultimate goal is to grow the tax base. To find ways to encourage more investment in the town, whether it's, housing units, whether it's business rehab, whether it's a new business locating in the industrial park, whatever, but that's kind of the bottom line is growing the tax base.
I mean, I completely agree with what Craig and everybody else is saying about, affordability and, providing services to folks and I just don't know if that position is the position that we necessarily would want to cut, although it is a new position, but we had it before. Whether it was went the way we were hoping it would go is debatable, but I mean, I think it will pay for itself, is my hope, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's guaranteed to pay for itself.
Well, I understand that, but I'm saying,
What else could you move that money, use that money for, I guess is what we're trying to say.
But that's kind of the point, is it not?
No, I mean, absolutely, Mike,
You got 11 years worth of it, right?
Right, I don't disagree with the idea of economic development, trust me, if there's someone who wants to see business flourish in Pittsfield, it's this guy. But I think getting there, we're missing the boat a little bit in the fact that we gotta be affordable. You just gotta start, you know what it's like to pay taxes, you know, not, you understand it, right? It's-
Oh, I understand fully, which is why my business is not in Pittsfield. But if they present an
You know what I mean,
opportunity,
though?
I'll move it here tomorrow. But, let's not short side the fact that you can't expect to solve this problem that's been inherited overnight. I think that this presents a tremendous opportunity, because I've dealt with this grant stuff at a much different level than this.
Right.
And as she said, it's invaluable. This thing, whether it's funded through us, we write checks for it, however that works out, this position pays for itself. You know, really.
And
You'll see that-
Jane,
There's literally nothing to lose. There's no, you can't, because of the way this is done for 11 years, you gotta ride it, or you gotta not ride it. And if you don't ride it, what are you gonna do with it? I mean, I'm just saying, there's no, you take advantage of it. I completely agree with Jack's philosophy on this, that, you know, I think it's very wise to go forward with this, because there's no other way to do it. There's no, you know, you're stuck with it until 37. There's no, you can't rewrite it, right? I mean, so what are you gonna do? You're gonna make the best of the situation that you have. And back to the tax problem, not to jump ship, but you can't fix that overnight. So we're trying to make up for a deficit that is vast across the entire community. And I full well know how that works out, and I know, and I've accepted that responsibility in my life personally. So I can agree with the argument of it's wildly out of control in some instances, and it's crazy. But what are you supposed to do with it? You know, you can sell your house and then, or you can sell your house and buy a nice modest house somewhere with a little 3-bedroom ranch and not worry about it too much, and nobody gets too excited about it, you know? I mean, there's a million different ways you can look at it. But if you've got a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom Victorian with a 4-car garage, you're probably gonna pay the piper. I mean, that's kind of the nature of not having a modest house. And I'm just saying,
No, I agree with you.
I'm not arguing, I'm not trying to strike an argument, I'm just saying that when you step back and look at the envelope of what the argument actually is, the increase is the same for everybody. It's just a matter of who's hit worse, whether you live in a 3-bedroom or a 5-bedroom. So if you wanna own a 5-bedroom, you might wanna make sure you get the credentials to back it up, right? Regardless of, I'm not literally saying 3 to 5 bedrooms, I'm just saying like the magnitude of your property.
Here's, I guess this is what I'm looking at. I think we're saying, we're arguing two different sides of the same coin, right? Cause I agree with you. I think that we need to do something that's gonna drive that. If this position can be successful, you would probably have 100% my commitment to that, right? 100%. But I look at us as, I'm that person laying there with a gaping wound right now. I've got an arterial bleed going on, right? I don't necessarily want to go find a doctor that's gonna be looking for a cure for a cold I'm gonna get in 6 months. I want them to pack the wound that I've got right now.
Stop, really.
I get what you're saying 100%. I'm on board with that. I want nothing more than to see this town flourish. We made strides last year to take back some control of a situation that forever billed itself as economic development for the town of Pittsfield, and really just figured out a way to go take themselves out to dinner once or twice a year, right? And I'm not quite sure how that ever was allowed to happen, but thank God we actually made some moves to kind of fix that, right? We have a large amount of money sitting there. I'm gonna bring this up right now. We have a large amount of money sitting right there where we could fund this position for 6 years. So we don't necessarily even need to do this, right? We could find different,
this money's not going away,
right? But
and we can use it for a very narrow focus, and we can't use it for whatever we want. It's restricted funding, we can't use it for whatever we want.
and we're not using the entire amount. Like if Jack finds another spot to use it, that like you said, is a what'd you just say 5 minutes ago? that-
Comprehensive plan.
Comprehensive plan, like, there's still $41,000 sitting there that. Okay, if that, I mean, the comprehensive plan was funded by another grant, so, but to your point, there could be opportunities like that. That this could fund, and it's only going up,
So my.
so
how
you
much
got
is-
$156,000 each year. You know, so there are, say 50,
Well, one of the same thing, if you add all these, if you add your column together.
Well, he's got-
Sitting in that account.
he's got available 135, right?
No, way more than that.
I'm operating off the assumption that all of our economic development director costs in the past wash this.
Oh,
And I'm looking at because that's when that activity ended.
okay.
So I'm looking at all that as a wash, and I'm looking at 2025 and forward since. Since I've been involved with the town, that we've not had that, and so I'm making all this forward looking to say, going forward. You know, if there's. You know, some balance, you know, I don't really think there is, but going forward, we wanna know that what this TIF fund is generating is being utilized on an ongoing basis to hopefully achieve what we wanted to achieve when we did the TIF, you know, to be able to make that facilitate more development.
So this is a disbursement twice a year.
So it just shows that when the tax bill gets paid by this property owner, then we reimburse. We reimburse a share of it, and then we keep a share of it, and so. In year one, we kept 0.305% of their tax payments, and we reimburse the rest. Now we're up to keeping 0.64% of that tax payment, and we reimburse the rest. So how a TIF works is you create the district and you have the agreement called the credit enhancement agreement. And the taxpayer still has to pay the bill. But once they pay it per the terms of the credit enhancement agreement, you reimburse a specific percentage back to them. And the idea is that you create that set at the beginning, and the developer might say, look, we'll spend a couple $1 million, but if you do a TIF and we get reimbursement on a percentage of the taxes, then that's gonna go subsidize the debt payoff of the project. So it's kind of a win-win, because they're gonna get some of their taxes back to try to retire some of the debt that you might not have done the project if you didn't offer this. And then we get to keep a piece that, then the state's involved, because this affects the formulas, this affects county taxes, so the state's involved. State wants to see that we've utilized our proceeds from the TIF in ways that are gonna contribute to economic development. And we do have a lot of latitude when we write these. We're gonna make it, you know, more consultant or, you know, position centric, or if we're gonna make it more bricks and mortar centric. You specify that in the application, and so. As we go forward with TIFs, we can really zero in on, and I think broad wording, the broader the wording, the better, honestly, you know. For this reason.
All right. We can. Put a pin in that. Line item for now, and if you guys see. An opportunity within this budget of. What that could be used for, or do you, Jack? Maybe give us some options, like maybe. You know, give us different options if there are different options.
What's the opportunity for an audit of these TIF funds? I'm just looking at this number. That is
Does the
incredible.
audit? Do all
Does the
that?
audit cover
Does
that?
it? audit
Yeah, we
cover
should be
that?
able to get some information.
Parse
from Ron.
parse this part out?
Well, yeah, Ron does that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just.
What I don't get is, I thought we funded that position originally with taxpayer money. Like TIFs, I don't remember talking about TIFs back when this was funded with. Back when Catherine was doing the job, like is that,
I don't either, but
No,
I remember being in the budget,
Yeah.
actually,
I wanna know where that money is. That's crazy. That's a crazy amount of money.
Yeah,
I mean, you're looking at $86,000 in 2019. $91,000 in 2020.
I mean, the auditor would.
Yeah.
Show us all that, so I guess that'd be a question for him,
Yeah. I'd love to
and
see
probably much more complex than.
Understood, I just love to see the
Then we're
fire department, see where that, I'd like to see it all.
It's
Yeah.
24, so we're almost through 24. And then we'll have a 6-month plan, and then obviously we'll get at this one.
Yeah.
So we should already have some of this information on.
Yeah, I might be able to get something out of them for 24, I won't be able to.
Well, the previous ones, like all the way back to 19, right?
Yeah, I can
Since
look,
it's
I can look at what they've got from those other ones.
Right.
Yeah.
Mike, do they have an economic development guy in Detroit?
What's that?
Is there an economic development guy in Detroit
In Detroit?
or wherever your business is?
No. But the population's different.
Right.
So there's no, this is a whole different category. I mean, the tax, between the tax rates and all of the things that happen inside,
Right.
I would say it's probably 30% comparable. Maybe 30%.
Right.
There's, so, I mean, I haven't really been super involved in any of those town meetings because up until just 3 weeks ago, now they're starting to make changes and things are gonna start flopping in the opposite direction, which is fairly optimal timing. For me to start paying a little bit closer attention, but, so, I'm already invested in Pittsfield and I have a 16-month plan to complete, so obviously I'm not gonna pull the plug on that now because it's already acquired. So for me to pull the plug on that, I mean, I could flop them all over, but what good is that gonna do? That's gonna dump this problem on somebody else in 16 months.
Right.
So I'd rather try and help fix the problem than try and walk away, but back to the point is. They just, it's really not comparable, but they're starting to kind of capture some of those things because the flock is happening.
Right.
So it's like, I don't wanna pay all the extra to live in Pittsfield, so I'm just gonna live in Detroit or Plymouth or whatever. And I'm gonna dump my little house there and do my little thing. Well. That's not really solving any problem because now it's compounding their issues, so they don't have plows, they don't have people, they can't cut roads, they can't do anything. So now their sub is going up, so they rent equipment and nonstop. So I suggested to them 6 months ago that they buy a machine. Well, if you spend $200,000 to run a machine a year, you probably should be thinking about buying a machine. I'm just saying.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you talk about comparables, it's really like another whole magnitude of problems. So, but it's crazy when you really boil it down.
Right. I'll tell you what, Jack, if you can hire a guy and have him fill the security buildings up with people, on board 100%.
Yeah.
We'll get on that.
So I have a tax question based on that building. Wasn't there some sort of a break off for that? Is that acquiring tax money now? Wasn't there something about that there was nothing on that for 5 years or something crazy?
Isn't all the equipment federally owned, so we don't.
That's what I heard,
Property tax?
is that a lot of that equipment that's actually part of the building is federally owned and tax exempt.
It was
So
federally.
you're getting, I think the
Right.
taxable piece, the
Yeah.
taxable piece is smaller than you might think for what you're looking at,
Uh-huh,
The parts that were federally owned, that would be taxable,
uh-huh.
were moved to Tennessee.
Well, I'm sure. They wouldn't stay in little old Pittsfield because nobody wants to pay for it, right? So it's
Absolutely.
similar to every other big business that's around here, nobody wants to pay for it, so imagine that, so maybe we target some of that, just as a thought. I personally don't think that everybody's paying their fair share when it comes to businesses that are in town whatsoever. And I think a lot of that goes down to the normal working man and woman every single day that's now paying premium rate on something that they feel is not valuable.
Well, that's the scary part, is that my house is a 3-bedroom house, and it's a 2-bath, like, it's a normal. So and it's expensive, like, I can't imagine if, my parents retired maybe, like, coughing up $5,000 a year for taxes, if you're on a fixed income is not,
Mhm.
and it's not, this is not a mansion, right? It's 3-bedroom, 2-bath, pretty typical. I don't know, I just. Trust me when I say I'm not against this, we need to, where do we start, right? How do we? When you're bleeding out, where do you start, right? And I'm not saying we're bleeding, I'm not saying you're doing a bad job either, that's not what I'm not saying we do a bad job, I'm saying at some point. We gotta make a decision, what do we wanna be, right?
I think this is wise.
We wanna be overgrown for our community and hopefully people keep paying the taxes, or at some point we get guard back the reins a little bit. and make sure we're right sized for what we're trying to do and where we are and how fast we're growing. Tell you what, you hope you're in a backup with good jobs that pay, this town would be a whole different look.
Yeah.
Well, we're not solving that tonight, so,
Make it on it.
yeah, unfortunately.
You got till
Let's,
I don't know what you're talking about, we'll give you a full month.
let's put a pin in that position
So
for,
we-
for the time being.
When we say that money would be earmarked towards like hiring, like I like. To Craig's point, we work with outside consultants all the time that write grants. And they evaluate a grant, and they say, you have a 30% hit rate on this grant, do you wanna try? And you don't pay them until they start writing it. So is there an opportunity where we can get into a situation like that, where they evaluate the opportunity? They say, this is what your hit rate is on that opportunity, and then we pay them with this money. I mean, if you wanna warm me up to something like that, to me, it's low risk, because you don't have an added person on the payroll, and you're getting a premium individual. I mean, this is a person, all they do is write grants. They spend up their whole.
But do they
If you're
administer
opposed to the grant, Then what?
Yeah, do they-
Well, convince me to hire a person.
Well, then you're stuck with this work for 10 years and no one to do it.
No, if we can start winning these grants and we can't keep up with it, shit, I'm not gonna
Do
argue
it
with
out
you.
of the gate,
Yeah, but the majority of the work comes after you get the grant, that's really the point, so.
correct.
What happens, I agree, and I'll agree to disagree. I agree with the fact that it would be nice to freelance out and say, yes, let's hire somebody, and yes, let's take a shot at saving 20 grand a year, I totally agree with all of that. What I disagree with is that your success at solving grant problems and bringing grants in creates a problem for every single person in this town after that, because they checked out, cashed their check, made their deposit, and skipped town. They're gone until you call them again for another grant. So the legwork of this is the simplicity. So truly, all of the work comes after the grant is, and and I don't want to undermine the fact that a lot of work goes into writing grants, obviously, and obtaining them. But 80% of the work comes after the grant comes in. So that's a very dangerous game. Because you're burying people that already don't have time to get the job done on a regular basis already, right? So I agree to disagree as far as that goes, but.
To your point, and what I'll say is, as a business manager that has assets in my control, right? And then I'm saying that human assets, right? So I have people that I employ to do X, Y, Z tasks. I can tell you that I have all intention of that person focusing on one task that I hired them for. And the actual rate of completion of that one task is probably less than 30%. So once you get someone in this building, and Jack, I'm not knocking you, this is any manager, any situation. When the work becomes overwhelming in other areas, it's gonna be, I have that person, they can help out. I have that person, they can help out. And then what percentage of their job and their daily routine and their daily business is actually the writing and administrating and finding.
And
these
that's
grants?
Jack's job to
Yeah,
manage,
right,
that's his job,
That's what
that's
we're
not
supposed to
our
do.
job, that's what he's here for, he doesn't need us to micromanage his staff.
Yeah, we had a problem years ago with,
It's our job to figure out if we're setting them up for failure for that position.
And he will let
I
us
disagree
know.
100%, that is our job.
He will let us know, he can manage his team.
all
So
right,
we have a pin in that.
Yeah.
position. And if there's something else that takes our attention that we think those funds might be useful for, we'll bring it up.
yep. All right,
Freelance grant writers too. $40 to $100 an hour. Grant administrator, sorry.
Oh,
But I'm fine. Pretty good job work.
well, you find them, send them to Jack.
Yeah.
Moving on to. I don't have. Any. Other. Insurance and benefits. Good. See too many issues there, that's all. Workers' compensation, I see you knocking that down for $8,000.
Yeah, for some reason, we must have done past, you get a big loss and then you get past the 3-year window and you don't have, I guess, another big loss, but we had a significant drop in premium for workers' comp and. Um. You know, we try to, we have a safety officer, we try to, make sure things are, we do what we can do to avoid losses, and if you do have one, you pay for it for a few years, and then you get out from underneath that, and the rating improves. Yeah, that was a pleasant surprise this year.
Yeah, it's good. Liability. Speak up if anybody, oh, I guess that's the last page for. General government, page 15, that's the last page of that.
Well, code is part of it technically, keep going, you got code and.
16,
Oh, codes and
Codes.
oh, okay, sorry, yep, good. Yeah, I didn't have any issues through there. Does anybody have anything
No.
through page 17? Public safety communications. Then it goes on to the police department. All right, I don't know, we put a pin in that position and I guess we don't really see anything else, so general government's somewhat good. General assistance is on page 46. Yeah,
Is this another one of those accounts that if we don't use it, it kind of piles up, or does this reset, like it,
It'll reset,
okay,
it'll reset. Yeah, so what we don't use, we'll just, go into, we're just going to surplus.
Oh, the $8,000, that's
the
for,
$8,000.
What's the rate of recovery on this? 80%, 70%,
70, I believe,
70%, so we'll see.
And-
oh, yeah, from,
6,400 of that back or 6,300 of that back.
if we spend it all,
Well-
I mean, right now, we've only spent like 1,200, so.
Right, but I'm saying if we spent the whole thing, we would, our entire expense piece would only be
Correct.
$2,000 or less.
pretty
But
significant
this-
change from 2023 to 2024.
Yeah, I would assume you'll see it, yeah, I would assume you'll see an uptick in that this year. I honestly would assume that upticks a little bit.
Yeah.
Overall economic condition, right, it's,
Yeah, yeah, but we're not even close,
no,
which is a good thing,
that is great,
so,
it's amazing you don't bring in other town properties, no problem.
yeah. Is everybody good with page 46?
Yeah.
Is the $8,000 something we can, like, are you comfortable with that, or is it too? You don't think we could bump that?
I think that's probably lower, even though we haven't spent much of it, I think it's, we're required to offer a
Oh, okay.
general assistance program, and,
Okay.
I think that, funding it at 8,000 is minimal.
Okay,
And if we were to have a year where we had a lot of, say, fuel assistance applications,
sure, okay,
the price of everything, we could easily go through that fast, and I'm a little bit surprised we haven't spent more, honestly, but I know that the person that we have that's looking over these applications is really, meticulous about, applicants doing what they need to do and showing what they need to show.
and not approving everything that comes through the door?
If it's not part of, the program, we just try to follow the rules. Which,
All right, no, that's good. Unclassified expenses are on page 48. That overlay abatement, what the heck is there? Is that the,
that's if somebody applies for there's two kinds of tax abatements. One is if the assessor makes a mistake on an assessment and basically taxes somebody for, 3 acres and they can bring a deed in and say, oh, I only have 2. Then they'll issue abatements. And then the other type of abatement would be an application for abatement for an inability to pay, which would come to a council, which we haven't had. And so that, and we don't
You don't
fund it necessarily, but it's there because they're by law, we'd have to grant it. They're cut and dry. If somebody's legally entitled to an abatement, the assessor has to do it. And if it amounts to, we'll say a bill that hadn't been paid, then they might just, pay the reduced amount. But if they paid the bill and then they file for the abatement, we might actually have to do a refund. So it looks like in that case, there was a refund.
Okay. Any other issues there for anybody?
Public fire protection.
I think that's set by.
Yeah, so that is part of the water rates.
Yeah.
When they set the water rates and they do a rate case, there's a percentage of those rates that are assigned to public fire protection, which are hydrants, the hydrant system. And what we pay basically for public fire protection is just less that the water ratepayers have to pay. We're taking up a piece of the pie through the support of the hydrants and that piece of it.
Sure. So why, just so obviously that's an end of year payment, right? Cause it doesn't reflect anything in 2025, so that would be something that's paid in December, I'm assuming. That's an end of year bill.
Probably.
Yep, so one time a year payment, so if that's the case, so 2026 would have been paid already, so that's not going to increase.
Unless there's I'm not sure if we do this quarterly and we're gonna get another quarter.
Yep, okay. Alright,
End of June.
that was my only question, cause I hadn't seen it approach anywhere near what we had got budgeted in 2026, and then we're increasing another 13,000 over and above that.
Yeah, and part of that is because if we have an increase in rates January 1 of 27, then that's gonna hit 6 months of the year we're budgeting for. So
Alright,
that would be, I'm trying to reflect that.
okay.
Yeah.
Alright, understood, thank you.
Anything else from anybody? For unclassifieds? All right, moving on, social community services on page 50. I got nothing.
Down at the bottom, right,
That,
with the social service.
2,500.
yeah, there was wasn't there a
There's a
request?
packet on that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
packet,
so
Oh,
each one
yeah.
of those.
Yeah.
Each one of those put requests in, and the amount we see on here in parentheses is what they asked for. And I didn't just put them all in the budget dollar for dollar. I didn't wanna not put it forward to let you know that these amounts were asked for. I put the $2,500 in as a placeholder, just as if they were all funded to, we'll say $500, and that would be that. But I think the question is, are there some of these that we wanna fund in the requested amount, or are there some that we may not wanna fund at all? And does that end number end up being something different than $2,500?
I really liked the way Lifelight, I read all those letters too, I really appreciate the way they outlined their calculation based on if it was like population or size of our town or something, it wasn't just a flat, would you give us this, there was some thought behind that, which I really appreciated. Are these the only groups that, was there a deadline to have this request in, or could more come?
I've never published a deadline for requests, and these are the only ones I've seen.
Okay.
If somebody mailed something that didn't get to me, then it's not here, but it's what I have, what I've seen.
anybody?
I don't see why the town should stipulate this. I think this has actually come up before, when we talked about this. This was 2 years ago. I know for a fact that the same thing came up, and kind of the decision at that time was, why would the town donate? I don't understand, there's no tax break for it. I mean, if. I don't get it. I don't get it, I don't know why that gets funded by,
I mean, it's service.
I mean, I can make a passionate plea for anything I want, right? Like, I can sell you anything if I feel strongly about it, I don't.
Well, this isn't, these are these nonprofits?
These are nonprofits, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's good to support them. I agree with that.
Didn't we say we're not, I didn't think we were allowed to.
Yeah, I thought there was something that precluded us from it, but.
But we.
No,
do-
you have to, you have to,
This was the animal
Oh,
shelter.
yeah, it was,
It's
yeah,
all about the animal shelter, the $500 donation to take care of
That
the
is
cats.
exactly right.
yeah,
And we decided not to, because why is it up to us to decide how we're gonna spend their money?
That's right, that's
If
exactly
they
what
wanna
we said.
donate their money to Lifeline, I think they should donate their money. to
Exactly what
Lifeline.
we said.
I would,
is this isn't, yeah, this is.
That's
Have you
exactly
seen
what-
this in like Dover and stuff?
yeah, usually
It's kind of
there's,
not,
I think we should have a line item in someone else's budget. Let's donate to the town of Pittsfield.
yeah, right.
go fund me page and set it up right now.
I'll write yours if you write mine.
That's not what they're gonna call it.
I know.
Just saying.
I mean,
That's exactly where we landed, but you're right. We said, who are we to decide how to spend it?
how the town, yeah, it's tax.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think on that one, that's that,
I don't really.
I mean, I
think
would
that-
tell them, I've got to check for 10% of that right now, like. I
But-
agree with everyone that we're talking about supporting, I just don't think it's right for me to tell my neighbor to pay for it.
I mean, you could say that about the food pantry too, couldn't you?
Well, I'm going to a minute, maybe not food pantry, but other stuff.
I'm just saying. I mean, you could go to any one of these
Yeah.
nonprofits and say, yeah, we're not gonna do it, cause. If you're
Yeah.
passionate about it, donate your own money.
I know.
Like, I don't know.
We do start
about pushing.
we do start to blur a line, I guess.
It's gonna be okay.
I mean, it tugs everyone.
That was our stance, like, a couple of years ago on that.
Yeah, and well, I don't think we should change our mind now.
No, I think we kind of set a path for ourselves, right? We just
Yeah.
stick to it.
But where does that
That
stop down through here?
that means that you saved
We
exactly
don't,
$12,000 so far.
we don't give donations to nonprofits on behalf of the town.
We took 9,500 out of our own pockets and then we're gonna take 2,500 out of
We
theirs.
need
Other than that, we got 12,000.
But.
How do you
Oh,
feel?
is that weird?
45 minutes.
I mean, I think that if the stance is no new ones, then you could, if you've obviously kept the ones that are in here for a reason, you know, but if there's no new ones, then.
Yeah.
I can just keep that in mind next time I get a new one, say, we're not.
It's not something that we can really look
We're
at.
not opening new ones. I just,
Yeah, I mean.
And it also.
No,
takes having to choose, which doesn't feel good, you know, these services are available to all of us because we live here and that's awesome, but just like you said, I'll give to the. Organizations that I want to give to, listen,
Oh, yeah, life flight or life flight?
Life Flight,
Nice,
I'm missing
I think
that.
it's fun.
I'm missing an F in there, sorry.
Yeah.
they do need the money, it's their Life Flight.
Wait,
Okay.
we're missing a zero too?
We're gonna stick with that stance
Yeah,
on that, I guess. Craig, where do you wanna go to next, you said?
Oh, boy. We're just about there, aren't we?
I'm sorry, I
I
need
think we got
clarification, are we
50
cutting that
2500.
Yeah. That's our,
I feel bad, like literally it tugs at my heartstring, but at the same time, it's going,
yeah, I mean, it's,
It's the right thing to stay
It's-
consistent, right? It's the worst thing you can do in a leadership role is be wishy-washy.
that's right. But where does it,
Cause it ends where there's something that you don't agree on, like strongly feel passionate about, or a community member feels passionately one way or the other.
right,
And then we take a stance,
right,
and then you're in a weird spot of,
right,
oh, I spoke for your money, I didn't realize that.
right,
I
yeah,
did X, Y, Z to you.
right,
Like,
that's right,
Right.
I can get the.
but, so, I'm not in favor of this necessarily, but how's the food pantry any different?
Well, the food pantry I think like that's feeding our community.
Probably saving on our general assistance. budget.
Okay, fair enough. You sold me.
That's right.
I was just playing that's not how I feel, and, I was just playing devil's advocate.
But just so you know, that
Just say.
we treat our general assistance program as the program of last resort, so we'll ask people, have you gone to, you know?
Yeah.
The CAP agency,
Right.
full assistance program, have you gone to the food pantry, have you done all these other things, we ask those questions.
Okay. All right, social service, community services, those are done. Page 52, capital budget, and. All right, Craig, what do you got?
Well,
No, I'm just kidding.
no, but, so I said tonight, we gotta have at least 252,000, we found 12,000, I mean, you gotta find 240,000 in these next 2 pages.
Well, get to work, I guess.
How much paving are we doing this year in Birchwood Terrace,
Birchwood Terrace?
or in the terraces?
None.
There'll be no paving?
Well, there'll be
that'd
the Birchwood,
Oh, yeah,
project.
Birchwood is, yeah, that's like
the Birchwood project
the
itself.
drainage, it's all together, so the drainage and the reconstruction of the road, basically putting it all back, it's, I think it's, I wanna say like 900,000.
I'll like to ask any question real quick. Have you priced out any paving this year? Have you priced out asphalt?
It's gonna be expensive. Be anywhere from 128 to 165. A ton, which is about double what we were paying about 5 years ago. And obviously that's fuel driven,
Oh, yeah, I mean,
fuel driven.
it was just another barrel just went up again today. I mean, I agree in putting the fund together and starting the fund. I think obviously you're looking at the biggest number in the room, right? So I think that the paving project. That's where we move our hit. We've got 2 large paving projects that we have already dedicated money to over the next few years. And I understand that doesn't touch any of the outside roads, any of the back road, I understand that. I just don't know that we can afford $400,000 this year in paving. Cause we're not gonna see, if we were to spend $400,000 in paving, so to your point, that's. How many tons? That's 250 tons. That's not a whole, sorry, 2,500 tons. Can't do math quickly. 2,500 tons. 3/4 of a mile.
Well,
Mile.
It depends how you do it.
Depends on.
I mean,
how
we
you do
just
it.
we just put out the RFP for it. You can look how much we paid last year for 138 grand.
Okay, so let's do 138 grand.
No, that's not my point. So the 400,000 isn't rebuilding any roads, it's maintaining the roads we've got.
Yep.
And keeping them from going into disrepair, where you're gonna spend 3 times that on those same damn roads.
But you can spend half that next year.
No one
can't
said,
just
no
spend
one
that
said
much.
no one said you have to spend the money. We're just allocating, we're building it into the budget. For years, they've put it in capital improvements.
Yeah.
And then when the tax rates go to increase, somebody comes along and says, well, then to hell with the 400,000, we're just gonna get rid of it. And then 20 years later, you got 75% of the roads that are impassable because they're awful. And then when you run into the same problem that we've worked 5 years we've been on council, we've worked to dig ourselves out of this hole. So we put, in the last 5 years, we've put maybe $3.5 to $4 million into roads. The previous 15 before that, they put less than $1 million.
Okay.
So
We're not.
this
years in 1 year.
this isn't, Greg, we just spent 50 grand on a comprehensive paving plan.
Yeah.
That's it.
We just found that out.
This is to get us to maintain the roads we've got.
I understand that fully.
So we're not digging ourselves out of a hole all in 1 year. This is what you have to do for the next 10 years to just maintain what you've got. This doesn't address Snake Root Road, Powers Road, Cooler Road,
What I'm
all these
saying-
other roads that are gone to crap.
But is this year the right year to do it?
Yes,
Why?
because this
You
is
have
the
a-
first
you have-
year of that
you have-
plan.
Okay, so you're gonna, tell me another town that stacks a tax
You don't have
increase
to,
on
you
top of
don't
a
have to
rebound.
spend the money.
On top of a
You
rebound.
don't have to spend the money. It can sit
I
there.
say we don't even charge the money.
And then in 6 months, when all those seats are filled, because people are complaining about the roads that are gone to disrepair, what's the number one thing that we hear every year?
Okay.
Roads, roads, and roads.
Terrace project. How much does that cost in the town? What's the cost of the town? We just talked about.
900,000?
No.
Huh?
I think,
I don't know.
I'm thinking it's around 900,000.
We talked about this at a previous.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah,
So when they question, that's the answer. Right? Spending $900,000 on a section of town that's in disrepair, much worse disrepair than what you're facing.
but
Next year.
that's a complete rebuild, Greg.
Next year's your turn.
That's a complete rebuild. So
Understand.
this is to maintain the road, so this doesn't exclude you from having to rebuild
Okay.
Snake Root Road. This doesn't even address that.
So
So in some years, you're gonna have 400,000 plus $1 million for the Snake Root Road. You don't just say, oh, to hell with the you don't say to hell with the 400,000, because you're rebuilding this one road over here. This is just to maintain what we've got.
I understand. This is.
And
this-
it's preventing you from having that $900,000 bill. Right?
Craig, were you here when the gentleman did the presentation? Because that was so valuable. He broke it down in such an easy to understand way and laid out exactly what we need to do and when. And overall, we agreed with the plan.
No, I understand that, and I understand that, and I'm not fighting it. 100%. What I'm fighting is this year, the year to implement it.
It's the year to implement it to some extent. There's no chance I'm gonna put, that I would agree to $0.
160,000. That
No.
zeros our
No.
budget.
No,
That's our.
Craig, that's what they did forever. A random number based on no information. Just to get the end result that you want.
The
That's
experts
100.
This is an educated number, Craig. Why would you just randomly say, oh, 150, that's.
So it's an educated number of zero tax increase. How
That's
many people are we
unrealistic.
pushing away because we
How,
increase
how,
taxes every year?
how, that's unrealistic.
They find
Craig.
240,000 somewhere else.
That's unrealistic.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No,
In
it's not.
this economy, how is that realistic? Everything's going through the roof.
So do less. I do less. I'm doing less this year at my house. Go look at my building on the back side of my house. It has 4 sides, right? It has 4 sides, 3 are done, right? I skipped a side and I said, you know what, I'm gonna pay for that later because this year I've got X, Y, and Z other projects I have to do.
All right.
I skipped that part. So I get it. We're all doing less because things cost more. I get it. I bought a used truck
And
this year
that's-
instead of buying new. I went to the lot to buy new and I bought used because I got a deal.
And then that's the hole that we put ourselves if we. Yes, I get that. A $250,000 increase is a lot.
But it's a $250,000 increase on top of a $320,000 increase from the school, on top of whatever the increase is gonna be for the rebound. So it's not 250,000. It's probably closer to $1 million.
Okay, so you want 0.
I want 0.
Tell me,
I want
tell me how to get there.
I want 320,000 under. I wanna cover the school budget and be at 0. That's what I really want. That's what I told you at the beginning of this year. I said that. I said, I'm gonna be an asshole till the end. And I wanna see it at net 0 this year.
Well, you've
I realize-
accomplished one, so let's keep going.
Perfect. You know what? I read a quote. the other day. I know, I love it.
Anyway,
I read a quote.
All
the
right,
other day.
Craig.
Made that feel good.
no, this is, we're
Makes me
good.
Feel good.
No, I'm kidding.
No. That was
All right,
Do
do you think you wanna cut down? Out of the current budget right now, you wanna go down 500,000, right?
I would love to see that happen. Do I think it's reasonable? No.
All right, so we're not even gonna address that, but we're gonna address each line item.
I wanna see our operating budget at net 0.
What's the amount that the state contributes to the 400,000?
I had.
Yeah, you had that somewhere, right?
80. I'm projecting that out at 80,000.
So are we doing 400 and then you're doing 80 on top of that?
No.
You do
no, it's,
320.
So what we'd raise, the amount we'd actually raise there, cause I'm showing 80,000 on the revenue
Yep.
side. So it would be net to raise out of that 400 would be 320.
Okay,
So which doesn't really.
but is the 80 a percentage?
No, the 80,000 is based on the gas tax and our miles of road that we have, that the state, gives us so much per mile for maintenance and capital improvement.
So the 80,000 is pretty much a fixed number.
Yeah.
That's pretty much a number, no
Yeah.
matter how much we pull out of ours, we gotta.
Yeah.
Which is what
Yeah.
how we got the 162 last year. Cause we only.
Right, that's
put
what I
in-
thought I remembered, I just was.
We only put in
right?
We put in much less than that.
364 days ago, I was probably not smarter than
Well, you just found out you're 15% in the gain already, so we're almost there.
Well,
I'm just saying,
Things are looking up,
things are getting better by the minute.
exactly.
there you
Do we
go.
use the tip funds for this? Because they were really good.
I still think you can.
They're all valid concerns, you just have to be very
Right.
careful.
Yeah.
Because the cost of the stuff, and
Right.
Donnie can obviously chime to most of this, cause he sees it in and out. But what happens if we just defer $150,000 more of that money? Tell me what happens the next time we sit around this operation right here and have this discussion. So I can tell you where it goes in my mind, because I've been paying taxes here for a long time, much like everybody else in this room. This is a nightmare, and it's a ticking time bomb if it's not dealt with, just my opinion. I'm gonna completely side with the fact that the numbers stay true and push forward and somehow muscle through it. Do I think that it's great that the tax is going up again and everybody's kind of taking it on the chin and all this? Absolutely not. I think it's the most miserable thing ever. But the bottom line is somehow we gotta muscle through this. And it's not really anybody's fault in this room. It's like, we gotta start somewhere, and if we don't start pushing some of this stuff, that number's gonna multiply again next year. This paving thing, the problem with all of this is that we saw it during 2x4s and COVID, like, okay, these people are gonna pay $58 a sheet for a sheet of beaver puke plywood when it's normally $7. Tell me one person in this room that didn't do that. And they kept paying it and paying it and paying it and paying it and paying it, which inevitably means they're gonna keep the prices up. So they're just gonna keep going. This is not gonna stop. It doesn't make any difference what happens on the other side. That paver pulls in the driveway and it's always gonna have a higher premium. They're not gonna sell you a product for less money when they know that you'll pay the premium. That's just the way it is. So I agree partially with what you're saying, and I agree with the saving money thing, but I think that we're gonna see this go significantly bad next year. And the roads are horrible at best.
So,
Alright,
I think we kind of screwed up though, because at that time, we did all that paving, we borrowed a lot of money to pave,
we did.
right? So we're still paying on, we haven't really, I mean, we've made a commitment to pay for that, but we're still paying for that, right?
Mhm.
So the payment we did 3 years ago, we're still paying for it today.
and the idea
The other
was,
thing is during COVID, we were playing without money because the government was pitching in left and right for all kinds of stuff.
right,
And now it's like no one has any money and everyone doesn't wanna do anything, right? So it's super reserved. I understand it, like, I'm with Craig, I mean, do less. And I do think it has to be net zero. Right, and we're trying to give ideas on where we can pull it and we're getting resistance, every different spot we're looking. Is a hard stop, right? And that's fine, but I think that one of these times we're gonna needle and we're gonna find a spot that we can agree on. To pull some money out of this thing to make it net zero. So we can all afford it to do this and do as much as we did last year, hopefully.
And
so
I'm not saying paving is the line. I'm with Mike in the way that I don't wanna take that money and earmark it, maybe we don't spend all this year, but it can sit in an account and be available for next year, right? A rainy day account.
That's kind of where I'm at. I'm like,
I'm
okay,
not against
let's
that.
allocate it, and make it happen, but
Maybe not
let's
the
be,
full amount, but.
let's be careful with that. So
Right.
if we push that money to somewhere else and donate it towards the school budget and all these other things, it's gonna become a big problem.
It is.
I'm just saying, it's, I mean, you're playing with fire a little bit, it's very dangerous,
But
and the townspeople are not very happy about driving on cobblestone road. You might as well buy a grader for crying out loud and just roll it down.
We already did.
you did,
I'm just saying, right? So you could take George Street, I mean, you could roll the pavement up, just grade it down, let them run the horses up and down. and it'll be-
Well, we saw in the presentation, because we asked the questions, you weren't here yet, I don't think, but what happens if we?
You can buy a horse.
What happens if it keeps getting worse?
It just multiplies,
We're upside down, there'll be some roads that they can't fix.
right? So then you have to structure rebuild.
Right,
So
right,
then what happens?
it goes through. the
Hey.
roof.
That goes from 400,000 to 40 million.
yeah.
Right.
Well, we're all riding the stock market, right? We're saying, all right, what's the payment gonna be in 365 days? All right, we're all kind of hedging and figuring out.
There's a
I think
trend.
it's a great conversation to have. I don't know what the answer is. I'm hoping it's expensive right now and 6 months from now is a lot cheaper.
But there's a trend, and the trend is, if you pay it today, you're gonna pay it tomorrow.
Right,
If
right.
bread goes up 50 cents tomorrow and you're hungry, what are you gonna do? You're gonna buy a loaf of bread. It makes absolutely no difference how you feel about it, it's gonna happen.
Right.
That's the one thing you can't change, is the certainty of increase. Just from my perspective, that's just my opinion. I just think it's dancing with fire, and I agree that the money should sit there. Perhaps we only end up spending 260,000. And we just leave however much sitting in the kitty just for a rainy
For
day.
next year's base.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
that's one of the things that they actually talked about when they did the presentation. They said that, the best time to bid, typically, the best time to bid a season's worth of paving would be in January,
Mhm.
in February, because you're first. You get everybody that's trying to line up their calendars with jobs. You typically get a lot of bidders, and they can schedule you, and when you're bidding it this time of year, everybody's busy. You might not get as many bidders, number one, because it's some people that would have bid don't have time anymore, and it's more last minute, so. We're gonna get the numbers, we're gonna get all the unit pricing for all this stuff, you know, the end of this week, so we're gonna know how much stuff is. And it might make sense to say like. The cheapest unit price we got, the best might be crack seal. And there's probably a dozen roads in that scope that we put in there for potentially for crack seal, which is a major pavement preservation treatment, that, you know, that we wanna do. But then we could bank the majority of the money. That would not be the majority of the money if we were just doing crack seal. Bank the majority of the money and then put it towards, you know, combine it with next year's budget and then get bids out in, you know, January. And, so I mean, it's just completely legit to not try to do everything if the pricing doesn't look good to us. You know, but to have an amount every year that we know will get the roads paved eventually is, I think, the key. We can never get back to the situation where we're staring at so many roads that need to be dealt with, reconstructed or whatever, but.
That's exactly what the experts we invited here told us.
Yeah. From a taxpayer's perspective, you've got to deliver a piece of a promise, right? You can't deliver that.
I would take a look at Main Street. I would take a look at Main Street and ask you if we're delivering on promises though. Look at the infrastructure getting repaired, right? Look at Birchwood Terrace. Is that us delivering on a promise? Yes, it is. Is what's coming from Main Street delivering on a promise? Yes, it is. So,
But that doesn't mean that other items just have to sit and wait because you're delivering on that
oh, it
promise.
does. It means you tighten your belt. You grab it and tighten. I don't care. If this isn't where it is, or if this isn't wholly where it is, then let's start right back at page 1 and start counting. Because to me, it's $252,000 out of this budget. I mean, I've said that every year and I've kind of folded most years. I just don't see me folding this year.
All right, well,
I think this rebound, you wanna talk about pissed off, throw more taxes on top of somebody whose tax bill is gonna go up. Because, does everybody understand what's happening with the rebound? It's not just, oh my God, our mill rate goes down. Because our tax value goes up. It's a redistribution of taxes. Is what happens in a revow. Right? It's a redistribution of taxes based on communities. Individual pockets of the community around. And you're gonna see some really pissed off people this year. I know in your area where you guys live, I know for a fact you're gonna see a major increase. I already talked to them. I know it's coming. They already told us that area is going up and
yeah,
value,
as I would expect it to.
right? But I understand.
So what do we do about it? What do we do? How do you resist that? You
No,
don't.
you shouldn't have done a revamp.
No, you should always have to worry about, because if you lose,
Right.
you lose your homestead exemption, right?
Right,
You start to lose that. But what you have to do with this, in those years, you have to be more, we don't do a revow every year, right? We're not talking about this being a continual problem for the next 20 years. We're talking about we have a 10-year paving plan, and we're gonna make it an 11-year paving plan because we need to absorb 1 year of the tax increase, right? Let that kind of pill go down, let it swallow, let those people be not as upset. And then let's start this paving plan. We've got it now, we've got that comprehensive plan. Are you telling me that 1 year is gonna change everything? 1 year at 400,000. I'm not saying don't do any. I'm saying we've got 80,000, maybe we'll put 100 to it. That still saves us 220,000. We got $180,000 in a bank in a year that we already are seeing a huge increase. But we can say, as a town, we delivered you a $0 increase on our operating budget. You wanna be pissed off at somebody, be pissed off at the school. Be pissed off at, not really the school, at the state for the valuation increase that caused the school budget to go up. It wasn't even really what the school asked us to do. It's literally a state valuation that went up that caused it. So we can literally say that as a town, we did not change anything. This is truly a reflection of where we should be. Now, next year, we're gonna start pouring some money into our community, when you're not gonna get this additional burden. Cause this doesn't get repeated for 20 years, 15 years. I think it's 15 to 20 years, what they say for a revow, right?
Well, I think the timing's good too for the new school, because there's gonna be an element of that that's gonna come out of taxpayer money somehow, perhaps, right?
Right? If anybody's,
So
if
if you wanna
anybody's
talk
read this,
about doing some paving and adding and building gyms all at the same time.
I mean, we're talking about $11 million gym. $10 million gym, whatever that is, right? And I know there's gonna be donations that are gonna hit. Well, it was broken down in the handout, but
Right.
9.8 million, whatever it was. So it's, I mean, there's obviously gonna be donations to cover that, but not all of it.
So looking at the pavement condition study, you could put in 200,000. Things that'll go. Things, some will stay good. Some of the pours will go very poor. Over a 10-year course,
Sure.
so. If you wanted to. This first year, and I know how this is gonna go in the following years. People will complain and. This number will be cut and then this paving plan will be useless, but. If you wanted to, it would maintain the good roads good and some of the poor roads will go bad and.
I mean,
And so 200, that, if you went to 200,000. Or even 300,000, I guess, but 200,000 would maintain the good roads good and.
Well, you're only saving 120, right? Cause 80 of that comes from.
no, you're saving 120. That's what you said, you're saving 200.
200,
Take 200
I'm
out.
putting in,
So we're
yeah,
only gonna put in 120 plus the 80 and that's it, plus 200.
200,
So are we reallocating the 200 or leaving it there to just kind of hang out like we talked?
No, 200 doesn't get assessed at all. It's pulled out of the budget entirely. That doesn't hit tax because that does not hit your tax.
This is a very dangerous game.
well,
I get it, I get it.
What
I
can
get
I
it.
know you got.
To Jack's point, right, there's
And I'm
there's
looking
crack
at
sealing,
numbers.
there's work that can be done.
You
And
know,
that's planned for years 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. What can we pull out of that this year
so the
and accomplish out of that 200,000?
the money to maintain our road, to maintain the current PCI, which is. Basically maintain the condition of your road.
Yep.
For the next 10 years, you at a minimum have to put 375,000, 300,000 of which is ours. So this number. Technically shouldn't go below 375 ever,
Right.
300 being from taxpayer money. But
Let's take into
if
consideration.
you wanted to in 1 year. But you're gonna have to make up for it at some point, but.
Let's take into consideration a minute, trucks, plows, condition of equipment. So if we not do that, let's just say. The trucks are being pounded to death already. So let's not do that, and then let's hopefully not have to buy a new $180,000 truck at the end of the season. Cause we plowed for 3 months because the chunks of pavement are coming up. I mean, we're hitting potholes that are 7, 8, 9, 10 inches deep. These trucks are not gonna sustain that. I mean, certainly.
And we
not to charge
deferred,
for that,
and
but
we
I'm just saying.
And we deferred the police cruiser,
Right,
So,
will then be next year,
okay,
if
so
you
So if
keep
we
that.
hold that
profit.
this year, do you think we would go higher next year?
well, I was getting ready to ask you an interesting question. You said 375 does it, right?
Can I make a suggestion?
Maintain it.
If you're thinking about it right now.
Yep.
The current rate and what's going on in the Middle East and what's going on, it's fuel driven. So. My opinion is that if you're gonna spend $400,000 with diesel fuel being $6.10 right now. That you're not gonna get great pricing. If in the next 6 months to a year, you see that diesel fuel going down to $3, you just paid twice as much road. So you're $200,000, we paid $400,000 on road, which you're gonna pay today. But again, that's a gamble.
Right.
Well, and we don't have to, and we
I
don't have
see it
to,
sustaining, I don't, fuel driven stuff, I don't see it sustaining, that's my feeling right now. Looking at it, that hopefully things are gonna come down, because something's gotta happen, when stuff is fuel driven like paving is. And I think you put that money away, that whatever you're gonna put away, you put it in the capital account, whatever you're doing, and you gain some interest on it. Remember, we didn't pave for 22 years, we put $100,000 in the capital when we started this problem. So, 22 years later, we borrowed $2 million, you're still $200,000 behind. For the time period that you guys fixed the roads, yes, we did a lot, we borrowed money. But back then, we got a mile of road for $100,000, now $100,000 won't pay the half mile. You're likely to get 3 easel mile road for that same type of money.
but to your point, if you don't put it in now, you can't do anything for another whole
How about this?
12 months.
How about this? This is a unique solution. We take $100,000 and out of our tax commitment and put it towards paving, okay? And we take the 80, so that gives us 180. Okay? And then we borrow $200,000. Which is over 10 years, a $27,000 payment per year. If 375 gets it done, and we commit 400, that pays the 27,000 plus the 375 that he says gets it done. And we covered $400,000 worth of paving this year, and we get to do that every single year. So you can take the loan for the partial amount. Right? As long as we spend it. As long as we commit it.
So I'm just wanna go back to the point, and I don't have it in front of me, and I'm just going by memory now. But they made 2 columns, they made a column of pavement preservation that needs to be done. And I think the total of all the pavement preservation, which is basically shims, overlays. Structural overlays, all that stuff, $5 million, if you're gonna just do it all the way. And then the other column was, if you're gonna do all the road reconstructions, basically start over again, take up all the pavement, I think that was another 5 million. And so this 400,000 is only dealing with pavement preservation. It's not dealing with reconstruction at all. What we did, by not putting it in the budget for 20 years, put us in a situation of borrowing $2 million for pavement reconstruction, pavement replacement. Because we weren't doing pavement preservation. And so I would hate to see us fall into the trap of not doing enough pavement preservation. And then having to spend whatever the factor is, a factor of 5 times more money to have to reconstruct it down the road. And that was really, if there was one main takeaway from this study, it was that when you get on a pavement condition grade, there comes a point where it gets to be a fair condition, where you can still preserve the pavement, but you wait even 1 more year or 2 more years, and it drops off that category, then it goes to a pavement replacement. And what their key point is, if nothing else, try to catch the ones that are teetering between still being able to preserve them, and just extend the life. And then when you get to a point where you can throw a few extra dollars at it, pick a reconstruction and do that.
But this accomplishes that. It's just a unique out of the box way to look at it. You still get your $400,000.
Run that by me again.
Okay,
Your math.
So-
Math.
okay. Huh?
No, say
Okay.
the, bring
All right.
through the financing again.
So. Jay said that the minimum was, that what was said was 375,000,
375, yeah.
right? We're talking about putting 400,000, so that leaves us a delta of 25 grand, right? For 27,000, we can borrow that 200,000, still get all 400 this year. 27,000 over 10 years,
But only have 200,000 in our budget.
but we would only have 100,000 in our budget.
100,000.
Plus the 80,
Loan, right?
and we would still
Right.
manage $380,000 this year.
But then you have more loan out there, and didn't we just have to get like special banking to?
Well,
But I just was trying to find a creative out of the box solution, to still hit the full number that we're asking for, right? It's a solution, but it also takes $200,000 out of a direct hit this year.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's exactly what we did 3 years ago at a smaller scale.
We had, right, and we had to do it,
Right.
we had to do those things that way because we had to
Right,
kickstart, it's like spraying ether in an engine, right? You gotta fire it sometimes,
But I-
you gotta get it moving.
I mean, I don't know, my goal, or my thought was. And maybe it's the same thing, but get the paving into the budget and not as a capital.
But it's still there,
expense.
but it's still there, you get 180,000 in the budget. And then you get it in your,
Borrow the other.
you get
But
it on
then
your
you're
debt
not doing
service.
like this every, you know,
No, you
if,
still have 400 every year.
Do you wanna borrow 200 every year to make?
No, only one time. You only borrow it one time. You pay 27,000 on it every year, so that takes your, if we were say commit 400,000 towards paving.
so you commit
The
to
first
370.
the first 27,000 goes to pay off this loan, and you still have 373,000 that go towards paving that year.
Right, so you're gonna pay the debt service with that 400,000 in the future.
Theoretically, right,
Right.
you're kind of using that. That's kind of how I was doing the math, and it makes it so that we still do the full commitment this year, but we don't hit.
That fixes this year's burn, but next year it's gonna be more of a burn.
But it's not, because next year we don't have the rebuild.
Oh,
So next year we don't have the compounding,
We don't have that pressure.
we don't have the compound, right? It's not a compound thing.
Can I make a suggestion?
yeah,
Please,
Can we put a pin in this? And,
Sure.
just let some more creative solutions maybe slosh around, because I get what everybody's saying, and I think we can find a happy medium here, I think.
so you think we can find $242,000?
That's the happy medium.
That doesn't sound at all.
Well, it started as balancing the school budget and the town budget.
That's right, so we give up 320, we're asking you to give up 240.
Yeah, this is going real well.
Interesting idea, Greg. You gotta always turn it on it.
I think it's a super creative solution.
Yeah.
But from my perspective, I think it's just borrowing trouble. I do think it's a creative solution, and I.
Me too, I wanna think on it more.
Yeah, but it's worth a future discussion, but I don't know.
I just have to say, right, and it's one of those things where if we can't come up with a different solution, then I can tell you I'm a no on. I'm a no on anything more than 180,000. 200,000, it's the 80, right? That saves us 220, right?
saves you 200.
That saves us the 200 to 240.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna put a pin in that. I have a question. I'm wondering the answer. Sorry, Jake.
No, I literally had to exhale, I just. I was actually a little past that.
Go ahead. So fund balance, year over year over year. Like, I would love to know the history of the fund balance and
Yeah,
where it runs, how much money is there, how much was there in 2016 compared to how much there is today?
Yeah, really.
Well,
I always wonder about
I can
that,
show you some of
actually.
the answer to your question.
I've asked the question a few times and I have never asked you directly, so,
So this is what I've
okay, you
what I've
prepared.
been able to put together.
He was prepared.
You knew it's coming.
Yeah, not 2016, but
Not all the way back there.
I don't need it all the way back there.
2019.
Oh, okay.
This is,
Asking you showers.
That's the fund balance,
good enough.
2019.
Is it 2 more?
But
yeah. So I have completed audits through 2023, so those are straight out of the books. The auditor gave me his estimate for 24, which is 4. 2025 is, just me not seeing anything changing because we didn't use any out of fund balance.
Yep,
But, we could have had, I would say that's conservative, because we might have a little bit accrued of that. But just to be safe, just to say that's flat. But then I also know that for the year that we're in, we took 884,000 balance. And I think that the way things are headed overall, we could probably put around 300,000 back, the two. Out of 884, I think we're only probably gonna take a hit of 600,000. Because some of that gets replenished, if we don't spend it, if everybody's budgets don't zero out, if any revenues come in, that becomes what we can add to fund balance. I think that the sustainable number is if we can operate with a little bit of additional revenues coming in and, you know, some of the expenses not having to be made every year. Gonna replenish somewhere between 250 and 300,000, which is what we've typically take off the tax commitment. You can kind of see. But I think that we're gonna be looking at the end of this year at 3.4. And I know we asked the auditor when he was here, what should it be, right? What should fund balance be? It should be between 3 and 4 months of operating cash. So we're okay.
Which is 2.7 to 3.6.
So 2.7 to 3.6,
Right.
where we should be. And we're okay.
Thanks
We're
for
not
having
broke, we're not rich.
We're okay.
Yeah, you know,
But I wonder,
So
we're
to your
trying to do
I'll
what,
tell you what, after this tax bill, I won't have 3-4 months of operating cash in my bank account.
But to your, I think your concern was that we were putting way too much in.
my concern was that we were basically overchanging our budgets, so it was growing the fund balance, so creating over taxation, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think that's what we're seeing here at all, but I do wonder. I mean, you were trying to balance out a paving budget with another 200,000 out of the fund balance, we're still cash wise, instead of borrowing cash, we're using our own cash and sitting in the bank that's depreciating 4% a year.
I think that would be it would be a better, I think, approach if to look at whether we use any of this, you know, maybe an extra 100,000 or so.
Versus invested money, or is this just sitting in the bank account?
We have that in like a CD. I think we're actually still getting like 50%.
Didn't I see a line item where 300,000 was coming out already though?
It is.
So we're already pulling 300.
We're already pulling 3.
So that was a 3-1. Oh.
That would put us at 500 to 600,000 out of the fund.
That's already reflected, just.
But, right, but the 300,000, I think, is sustainable, so we can see that every year. So in other words, if we can, on a normal budget year, if we can generate 300,000 between additional revenues, you're trying to be conservative when I budget the revenues, so that you get maybe a little bit more coming in, you don't come up short. So between more revenues and less expense, if we can add 300,000, 250 to 300,000 each year, the fund balance, and you can just take it off in the next commitment, and that way you're always giving it back. If you're overtaxing anything in one year, you're taking it off the next year, and you can just try to keep that fund balance sustained at this level.
Well,
Right,
Small
but we-
raises his eyebrows and it goes from 2.9 million to 4.1 million 1 year, like, I don't know what happened that year.
I don't know why it happened either.
Holy shit.
I don't know why it happened.
That's a huge swing in cash.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's COVID money or something.
but what if we pulled that 400, that whatever to balance the budget out of the fund, and then if we don't use it, it's just gonna hang, it's gonna be in general fund anyway, it's just gonna be hanging there. Right, you're not paying interest, no commitment on it, it's your own cash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And the prices.
Yeah.
if you didn't
stock,
execute, yeah.
We hold it for the next year.
Yeah,
but the thing is, at some point, is if you do wanna make this structurally part of the budget to have pavement preservation in your budget every year, you've got to introduce it to the annual budget at some point. So what I would say is, if we don't wanna, and again, 400,000 is really 320,000, because 80 of it's not ours, but you have to introduce it somehow. You introduce it all at once, introduce it over 2 years, but that has to become part of the annual tax commitment. But a way to lessen it in this transition would be to take.
take it out of fund balance and take it out
Take
of.
100 or 150,000.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, at the risk of being the only one to say this, I would see that if we're gonna reduce it if we go net negative. I think we need to tighten our belt. I think we can do this. If it's not in that line item, then we gotta find it. We have 4 weeks.
But it's really not a different solution than yours, it's just where the money comes from is different.
It's our own money, not
Right.
our money.
But that doesn't exclude us from scrutinizing
Oh, hell no.
any and all
This
of,
is just,
of,
this is just one line that we're talking about, I think.
right. And I mean, the fund balance doesn't, I mean, I guess it's allotted to that, but you're really just putting it on to at the end, like to offset the total budget. So you're not saying, yes, I'm gonna offset specifically the paving budget.
So,
You're
If you
just
go-
offsetting the budget in general.
well, it's sort of, I try to illustrate it in the summary sheet because it's important how you allocate fund balance, because you never want to be allocating fund balance to offset your operations and maintenance. But it's okay if you have a healthy fund balance and you have some one-time expenses to allocate it to that, but you just don't want to allocate it to reoccurring expenses. So if you look at all of the purple in column 2,
What page are you on there?
I'm on the very first page where it's the Excel
Okay.
sheet.
Yeah.
And if you look at the purple in column 2, all of these things came out of fund balance last year. You know, you had the you had the reval, 137,000 one-time thing. We wanted to basically be able to wrap it up this year. And we said, because we had a revenue issue, we wanted to use fund balance to cushion the revenue issue last year. So we took all the capital pretty much out of fund balance, the police, public works, police, part of the police cruiser, part of rec, all of that. And then the large culvert and the bridge rehab we did on Sebasco Street and Crawford Road. That all came out of fund balance. And then down at the bottom, which is really some years, the only amount of fund balance you would use was 420,000, when I think the previous year was like 320,000. That's where I go back to 300, 250, maybe 320. That's sustainable because you're basically just putting back what you earned the previous year. When you start getting north of that is when you can start to see the trajectory of the fund balance, you know, start to drop, and it'll keep dropping if it's outpacing what you're putting back into it. So fast forward to this year and you look at, you column 6, we don't see any purple until you get down to the 300,000, which to me is more of a normal year. So if we wanted to use some fund balance towards paving, what I would recommend is showing in column 6, up against the paving number, which is
Line 42.
line 42, that's right. I would show that being maybe 180,
Right.
and yeah, 180, and then you would just know that 80 of it's the state and
100 fund balance.
100's from fund balance. So something like that. And the reason why I would allocate it that way is just so it's alerting us to the fact that whatever you see fund balance being used outside of this bottom line here, you wanna just ask yourself, is this a one-time thing?
Right.
Because you shouldn't be.
We don't wanna rely on it.
Can't rely on it. It's like,
Staples easy buck.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you have, say you take 400,000, the bottom line.
yeah,
And then you've got the 320 up in the paving.
Yeah.
Then we don't execute paving, or we execute 200,000 of the 320.
Yeah.
Then the 120 still stays as in a reserve account for paving, right?
yeah, basically.
Like it doesn't just go away,
The
like,
other way.
then it's allotted to paving. And somebody
stays
can't come
there.
along and just say, oh, well. it's-
Exactly, no, exactly, if we just leave the paving alone and we go from 300 to 400,000, then it's the same effect.
Right,
We still have our full paving budget. And the only thing that we just have to remember next year is that, the 400,000 that came out of fund balance
should be
should
300,
be 3
right,
or 320, you know, whatever, but it shouldn't stay at 4.
Yeah.
4 doesn't look to me like a sustainable number. And you always want this bottom line here just to be a sustainable number that we're using fund balance to represent any excesses that we had gotten the previous year that we can give back to the taxpayer.
That makes sense to me.
You sleeping or you passed out?
He's observing.
Ruminating.
It doesn't solve the original issue of zero.
I mean, it gets it to
Well-
zero, but it gets it to zero through an easy buck, right? And it's.
We'll take it home,
but,
But next
but
year, we're in a different position.
but we're digging ourselves out of.
Right.
It gives us the easy button for the 1 year, we need an easy button, right?
Correct,
That's like,
that's right.
That's still a balanced budget.
We need the help, we need.
and there was money that,
And it's the town's money. We're saying, hey, we took your money this year. We're not borrowing, they didn't take any of the bank's money. We took your money and put it in the roads this year.
I think that's gonna go a lot further, rather than to
Yeah.
borrow and then try and offset.
we've heard.
Only because that still leaves us the ability to borrow if we need to down the road.
Down the road, right?
Mistake then?
And it's better than doing nothing,
Out of what?
we're living up to our promise. I think that's a good
I mean,
thing,
you can. Technically, I think.
I don't think we need to.
But. Let's. So
I just think.
let's have that,
We haven't tightened our belt.
right, that's what I'm getting at, is let's
Yeah.
put a pin in that for now. And we still have capital budgets to go down through,
Yeah.
and we have other spots to
We
maybe.
just haven't done our work, you know, it
Right.
feels like we haven't done the work.
Well, we
You understand your point?
keep poking. We'll find our spot, right? It's
Right, so,
there somewhere.
Problem is, we identify it every year, we do nothing about it for 11 months. And then we come in here and go, we need to do it, we need to do it, we need to do it in a panic. There's not enough time to do it, then we don't do it. It
Every
drives
year-
me damn crazy.
Every year brings so many new different things that you don't anticipate.
Craig, I don't wanna say it, don't make me say it,
Go ahead, say it.
I don't want to.
Well,
What committee are you on?
I know, understood. Let's do it.
Huh?
Do it.
All right, let's go.
You took out my $9,500, man. I can't afford to come in here for
Yeah.
that. You got another night for free?
I got a whole garage full of bottles, you can have the bottles, how about that?
Oh, God.
All right.
I think my cut was $4 out of that, so I'm really not worried about it, but.
All right, we're coming back to that. Moving down, replace the rooftop heating
Page
unit,
52,
page 52, yes. Heading unit, I mean, that sounds like something,
Heating unit, I can't type it.
oh, it's a heating,
Heating unit.
okay, yep, the heating unit. We knocked. Yeah, we changed the cruiser, we pushed that off for a year, which is. We didn't really, cause they were dispersing it over 2 years. We always skip a year every 3 years, so that's kind of par for the course.
The cemetery mower is net zero, cause that's just coming out of the trust fund, so that's not hidden taxes.
Are we keeping tabs throughout this process on the things that were, the can that has been kicked? Like the police cruiser? Like if that's coming up on the, you got all that?
I know.
Okay.
this bleacher repair hall, did we not tackle that 2 years
This
ago?
is the third year, it's supposed to do the third year.
Probably
But didn't we
100
do it?
features in there.
Didn't we do it? Like, didn't we
I
fund
wanted
it?
to repair,
We only gave them, I think, 5,000.
Yeah, we only give them a small amount, but I think they've been. Have they been replacing them?
I don't think they've done anything.
Cause we're talking about doing aluminum planks or something, right? Wasn't that the whole conversation?
Started
Yeah.
last year, yeah,
I remember, I'm like, what the hell?
I
How many
know.
times we gonna
I
do
saw it too, I was like, here it is again.
So what's
So I
the
just
issue,
need to
it's
mow
coming in and it's not getting done, or what?
It hasn't been replaced, so it's been in the budget and it hasn't been enough money, is my understanding, so $5,000 was not enough money to do it, so it looks like we're looking for 10,000 this year.
Was there money sitting there somewhere, Jack, that's earmarked for bleachers for a previous budget?
Oh, right there, 25, $8,000.
Yeah.
Was budgeted.
But not,
2024, 10,000 was budgeted.
and never used.
Yeah, but we did
No,
a,
use, so.
we did a, floor on the pool house floor, I think.
Oh, yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that. Okay, so they had like a sealer or something on it?
Yeah.
I remember that too.
Epoxy.
Donna, you couldn't
Yes.
get your crew to do that? Sorry. Sorry, Kevin.
It's 4:30. Move it along.
You want me to come see you on Saturday, you can yell at me.
I know.
Okay.
um. Highways, the 20 grand for the
Is that a sidewalk machine?
used sidewalk machine. Leases, for the truck
So you said
replacement.
sidewalk machine is 40, 50,000, if I read that.
It's like 48,000 and we would,
You have
use,
reserve, right?
we got some reserve we could use.
Okay.
And. Is that's all for capital?
Yeah.
It's spectacular, that's all we got,
And then debt service,
debt service.
I'm not gonna say we're done.
and that,
Fifty.
I mean, that just is what it is, there's nothing we can change in there,
The
right?
only thing that's not set in stone is the last one where it says 4521 public works equipment. This would be, the payment, 42,400 would be the payment if we were to, lease purchase. A used, single axle plow truck to replace the 08 International that we really need to just, retire. And then also.
Which we've seen that report, I think.
And
Isn't there
then,
a report on that?
yeah, I think they should have got that emailed out when,
Mhm.
when we're faced with that, and then I would also cover a payment on a loader. I had originally figured that it would be about $100,000 to get a good used loader. Looks like we could get one for, closer to 70,000. So that's, I think, offer is on the table to do that. What I'm not so sure about is whether we could get the single axle plow truck all set up for 125. Was what my original thought. I think that's possible. Maybe it would spill over a little bit, so, between,
So what size are we talking, like a 750 or larger?
Yeah, you're looking at another 75 series, so you're looking at a single axle, something that's got a.
You-
Yard dump on it.
You're looking brand new, what, 97,000 without any plow setup, anything?
How much?
About 97 to 105?
That's what you pick. That's what you pay.
No, cut it down.
97,000.
You can get it, you can find it. I know you're a shrewd dealer.
Well,
Right
anyway,
now, for the ones I've actually looked at, you're looking at 15, 16. And they're anywhere from 100 to 125 with just the front plow, with a dust without no wing on. Most of them that are in decent shape.
that's a 2015 or 16, is that what you just said?
Right now, Palmyra just bought what do they call it, the IV International, it's like a ton and a half truck with a plow and wing, it's like trying to plow the roads with over in Palmyra, and I think they just paid $196,000 for that truck. Single axle, about 240 to 250 set up, brand new, and 350 for wheelers, they're outpacing what. They're almost like fire trucks, so you used to get a fire truck for 250, a fire pump, and now they're $900,000.
I had this conversation with him about this new truck and it was pretty much unanimously decided because the two characters that were doing it before were doing it with a 1-ton truck. And pretty much a couple of pushing snow shovel 30-inch jobs hanging off the side of it. It was pretty miserable to deal with.
And obviously, I realize that there's no way that we're gonna afford anything that's remotely near. That Red International's got a bad frame. The body's bad.
Yeah, they sent us the report and that's,
So
yeah,
it's,
so we,
I mean, and you got guys that were still out there just pulling keys, because if I don't pull the keys, put them in my pocket, they need to get roads plowed and they're taking them on the road. And, cause they have no other choice. Don't have many other options.
alright, so the loader you can get for 70K.
Yeah, one of the things that this is a point of contention, and this is again being responsible, is. We got a 20 series case up there, it's 40 years old, it's gonna cost $70,000 to. Try to refurb something 40 years old. I know Jerry was looking at getting a 20 series, you're talking about $185,000. We use it for 6 months of the year. It's bigger than I think that we really need, and you can find. You can find a 3-year-old one, 4-year-old one, that's a little bit smaller, that will fit the same belt. And do everything we need to do for under 70.
Yep, that includes the,
That includes the Fords with it.
the quick connect and the bucket and a set of forks and,
Fords and,
yeah.
And this is
So
for
we-
the loader, you said? This is for the loader.
this is for the loader.
Yeah,
And
there's
just,
two of
and in
them,
order
so,
for you to
right?
pass the straight face test, you're gonna pay up to $80,000 for a machine that we're gonna use for 5 to 6 months, like that.
And,
We're in dire needs here, I mean, we need, obviously need equipment and try to get the best equipment and the safest equipment to be able to do our job.
So,
I did look and see if we took the price of this lease down 30,000. You know, if we just realized the savings on the loader, then we could cut $5,000 off this payment.
I wanted to cut 30 grand off that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean. You found the thing, so I guess we could make that change at least, right? And we think we can get one for 125, but you weren't sure?
Well, I mean, that'll be our, that would be. We basically have to settle for whatever we can get for within 125, And I would just hope that we wouldn't be buying anything for 125 that'll cost us
Much more.
something unforeseen, I mean, you never know that, you're buying something used and you always run the risk of having to,
Well,
get stuck with a repair bill with it, but.
in the next month. I think you can look around and find some stuff,
Because they're.
because if you can't get within a row.
So obviously, everybody else is in the same boat, and I hate to see us say that if it was 126 or 127, but again, it's $100,000 to put a tile and drain on the truck and the same end body, so.
That much?
100 grand. HP Fairfield ran 100 grand, if we will buy a new dump truck, 100 grand to put a plow wing in.
do we have any access to commercial auction at all?
Yeah, I've gone down to Augusta, a few places with some of the state trucks and stuff, and, yeah, you buy, which, if they get rid of them, there's a reason for it.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about state rates.
Yeah, and I've looked at the ones, the equipment place you go down to, Arundel was another place, they get a lot out of New York, and they're, oh, Jesus, it's a 9-year-old truck, 8-year-old truck, you can get down there.
Yeah.
The frames are Swiss cheese, or,
Yeah.
they just straight.
So we have access.
Yeah, and, state's having the same problem, they got, 20 trucks that are up to. They may help, and they're 3-year-old trucks, and they're.
Yeah, so the plow gear that we have is completely gone. The plow gear that we have on the 08 International is no good.
We're actually gonna keep trying to keep the dust pan on the front.
We just need a truck and a body.
Well, in the truck, we're gonna need a wing. And most of these trucks that I'm seeing I've seen in New York, Missouri, Connecticut, they just have a dust pan in front plow, there's no way, they're not set up over there.
Yeah.
Because they're city trucks.
Can you send like the specs of everything you need? And.
Yeah, and I've got the truck paper list, I've got people that are actually actively looking for anything that's in that.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure there's some resources that could maybe help too,
Yeah.
but we don't wanna put you at 125 and then find out, you need 135 or something.
Yeah,
So in the next month,
I'm actually pursuing.
Okay.
Myself, Jerry, we're looking all over the place, I got Dylan over the TW Clark, and a bunch of people looking for us.
okay,
Everywhere and anywhere,
good deal.
we're hoping to find a gem.
Well, it's true though, that everybody's facing the same problem at the same time.
Yeah,
It's just gonna be who's there first.
pretty much.
And then the other thing is having the money, so we say we have 125, if we don't have it, then obviously we're not.
Right.
Right,
It's like that, it's like the loader, the person that's got it, sale or whatever, if we give them a letter commitment next week that we're gonna get the loader, he'll hold it until after July 1. If
Yeah.
not, he can go sell it, or trade it in, and get the whole trading value, and get something else.
alright, so that was the only one that we could adjust on debt services.
Yeah, the other ones, they're
Yeah, they're-
payment schedules.
Okay,
And, we did get up from underneath one for 62,825, so we're still seeing a decrease in the debt service.
Yeah.
Even with this new lease thrown in there.
okay. That gets us through all those things, somewhat painful, is there? Anything you guys wanna? There's other items that we wanna revisit, but. As far as. Items you guys wanna revisit tonight?
When do we revisit public hearings?
The public hearing is on the 16th,
Yeah.
and you can adjust things that,
Hearing closes and.
I mean, we don't want to make a ton of adjustments and probably not have a heated debate that night, ideally, but
Sure, the majority of it can be sorted out
yeah,
prior to that. There's some options on it.
yeah, I mean, I think. We know where you stand, Craig. And, anybody else have anything? Revisit something, well, I mean, we didn't really. No, I didn't think. Yeah. All right,
So we wouldn't look at back in one,
another meeting.
another meeting like the.
Oh, you could the June 1st, June 2nd. Just a budget meeting. Solely, like no agenda,
Okay.
I mean, just a small agenda, I guess, sorry.
What time?
And strictly
Do you wanna
talk
do it
about the, you know, the things that we could,
I'm thinking just budget.
right.
earlier than 6:30
For when?
for June 2nd?
Second.
Can anybody do 6 or 5:30?
Yeah.
Get it going. What's the earliest folks can do? 6? Okay, that's all right. So 6 o'clock on June 2nd?
Yeah, I can do it.
All right.
Could we entertain,
Check with my scheduler.
Yeah, true.
can we entertain one non-budget item, which might be a dangerous building that? we-
Yes. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna ask.
We
Yeah.
could,
Yeah,
yeah,
Just that one.
yeah,
I think we should deal with the thorn for sure, and
yeah.
so I was gonna ask,
yeah, we could.
so moving into, are we still gonna do what's that?
No, go ahead.
Did everything turn out?
No, because we're still in the meeting.
Gotcha.
Are we gonna get an email, are you gonna scan and screen through the,
Tomorrow, I'm gonna send you,
Okay.
everybody the, letter we got.
Okay.
And I'll read it.
yeah,
Did you get it today?
on the
I
28th?
did, I mean, probably during the meeting.
And
I mean,
then
it wasn't in my email.
just don't do a reply all, because we're not supposed to have conversation back and
Yeah, you
forth,
can
but
converse
just,
with me,
just.
but don't,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be a reply all.
Yeah.
Conversation, yeah.
I don't
We
think
got
group chat.
Yeah.
This is as groupie as I get, right?
June 2nd.
All right, thank you, guys. So we'll see that in the next day,
At 6 P.M.
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's 6 PM.
And June 2nd at 6.
Yeah.
Good suggestion.
Yeah.
Jack will set a reminder on that Thursday before, so we know when to be here.
And the only bonus item is Main Street.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, both, hopefully, I guess we don't have the report on. So they would both be on there.
Yeah,
That way, it's not sitting on somebody
Yeah, yeah,
else. Right, the deal will be.
right,
Yeah.
All right, I'll look for our meeting, motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.